that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. Hard like winter cold. Bust these fools, anything less than killing whack rappers is a crime. I stay trying to get mine. Stacking value, packing venues, winning over time. Ain't no fine timeline. Open your eyes, you're looking for the best, and this is what you find. Game is only for the bold. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Introducing from parts unknown, your UFC and combat sports insider, Clever D, the Combat G, and the sports professor.
Yo, 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 what up, friends? You know what it is. Ballin' Buds back at it again. Yes, you saw us last week. We had a star-studded show for the huge boxing event some people were calling the best boxing card ever. Did it live up to that? Well, we will find out today from our boxing, UFC, MMA, combat sports insider, expert, star of the show, Clubber D, the Combat G.
I'm just a nobody. It's really the people out there, the stars of the show. It's everybody from Angel Diaz commenting to Rodolfo, to everybody that came over from the 86 Boxing, Skywalker Boxing page, all the people out there that make this worthwhile. Okay, I appreciate you guys. You know what I'm saying? So we'll wait a little while, let you guys come in, and until then, just hit the like button. It's free. I'm not gonna charge you this time. Just hit the like button if you feel like it. I'm not gonna force you to do it, but Omar might give you a back rub.
I would definitely give a virtual back rub to anyone that goes ahead and hits that like button right now for us. Thank you. Thank you again. Yeah, Angel, thank you. Salute for tuning in. We appreciate you. And everybody else who's tuned in, make sure you're subscribed to Ballin' Buds, BALLAND BUDS on YouTube, so you can catch all of our live stream and video content there. And as well, make sure you tap in with our next guest. Clubber D, would you like to do the introduction?
The one and only, the man. Not only is he a boxing savant, he will talk about boxing from the 1800s, the 1900s, to the 1500s with Alexander the Great and all that. I'm probably got my dates wrong, but the man, the myth, the legend, Joshua from 86 Boxing.
Whoa!
Salute. Appreciate you being here, or appreciate being here, rather, thanks for the warm welcome right there. Appreciate it 100%. Salute Clubber D and Omar representing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Most definitely. We really appreciate you tuning in again. Make sure you all tap in with 86 Boxing. They also have a new channel, 86 Sports. So please make sure y'all tap in and subscribe and support the 86 Boxing fellas. So how did you, first of all, Josh, thanks again for joining us. We'll have Skywalker Boxing Media, Papi Chunyeo on in a little bit when they're done with their boxing interview. And we'll have others trickling over. But Josh, we'll start with you. Overall thoughts on the weekend's card?
On paper, greatest card ever. The event in itself probably didn't live up to that level of hype, but we did get some good fights out of this, some solid competition regardless of the fact. Now, I do think that, hey, there's a chance we can up the ante even more. Some of it was unfortunate because of injuries, sickness, whatever it may be. We didn't get to see a couple of the fights that were initially planned. That being said, we at least got to see half of the stars that were going to be a part of even those contests. So I would definitely say that it was one of those where it was worth the while in terms of just being able to tune in and see all of these elite level fighters there in one venue and on one card, making it happen. But certainly, I don't think it set the bar in any way as the greatest card ever. But salute to them for even attempting such, though.
Yeah, and you are our resident boxing historian and one of the foremost experts in boxing history there on YouTube. So we really appreciate that perspective. Clubber D, what did you think about what was possibly called the best boxing card ever?
Yeah, well, on paper, if I would have saw it about 2 weeks prior to the actual fight, then yeah, I would say this was the best ever. Of course, one card went down, then the next card went down, then I was like, oh, here we go. And I think personally, I think the card got affected by the boys getting sick and not fighting Anthony Parker. I think that was probably the biggest one because everybody was waiting for that fight besides the main event, and it has so much on title implications as far as what Usyk's going to do. So I feel that if that fight would have still been there, and maybe Callum Smith or somebody like that, besides Shakur Stevenson's opponent would have got hurt and called out, then it'd been a little different story. But I would say it was on a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the best card ever. I'd give it a strong 87. It was good. It was very good. I enjoyed it, but I just thought it could be much better.
Okay, awesome. And in that perspective of greatest cards ever, I know we'll possibly touch on some other past great cards here when we get into this card. But for the spectacle, for the price point that this was put at, which was affordable for any boxing fan, well, pretty much I didn't say any. There are some people in the world that can't afford that still, but for the most part, people were able not paying $80, which was my favorite part about this. And the fact that you got quality, even though we did have some changes, as was stated, there were still quality fights, which made this, at least in my eyes, well worth the 20, whatever it was, $5.99 or whatever that was. Clubber D, how do you feel about that?
Well, that Saturday morning, I had a great day. I went to the gym, came home early. I started a little late, so I had to rewind. And the zone charged me $30 for this card. And I would say the Callum Smith-Buatsi fight, that could have been, I would have paid $30 to watch that fight alone. So I think I got my money's worth and some as far as price point. Wow. So that's a 10 out of 10 as far as the price point and what they put on for us. I don't mind, as like Papa Chuneo mentioned the last stream, that you have your whole Saturday night to do whatever, and it's like a big adrenaline dump after watching these fights at like 12:30 in the afternoon, and then like around 4 or 5, it's over with. It's like, oh, what do I do? I went to bed. But anyways, it's one of those things. I think that that it was definitely, I think it was for $30. It was it's more of an $80 card, to be honest with you. That's one of those cards you can pay $80 for and not be mad about. Or I wouldn't say as high as Mayweather, where when Mayweather fought Pacquiao, that was $100 to watch that fight. But wow. Yeah, I don't remember who's on the undercard of that, but I just remember it was $100 for that fight, and I was a groomsman in one of my buddies' wedding that day. Shout out to my boy Chris Brown. But yeah, just thinking of just past cards for being $30, this is definitely well worth it.
And so, and I'm going to follow up to you, Josh, after asking Clubber D this, but I want to follow up with, do you think now that we've already hit this frontier that people will still go back to charging that $80, stuff like that? Or will we start to see this affect a change for other organizations as well? What do you think?
Well, since Turkey is the monopoly, there's only one person not get along with him or is with him. That's a PBC, and we're going to find out on Saturday when Tank fights Lamont Roach for $80, on Amazon. Look at the numbers. How many people are going to buy that fight opposed to paying $30 up to what we just fought and watching multiple champions fight? There are going to be champions on that card. It's not a bad card that they're charging for $80, but when you get $80 over here, when you can get $30 over here and have star-studded event. So that's we'll see on Saturday.
And that's exactly what I'm intimating at. Josh, what do you think about that?
For the price point, I do think it was worth it. Now, I don't know the particulars as far as how it is for a non-DAZN subscriber. I am a subscriber of DAZN, so I do the monthly. It's like $31 a month. Mm-hmm. And so the pay-per-view, I believe, was $25.99 or $24.99, one of the two for me there when I purchased it. So certainly well worth it there. And previously, just thinking about it, since a lot of things moved to the subscription-based service, I've been with the Zone from the start.
Same here.
I would just go with the yearly option, which used to be about $99, and then they went up. It jumped to from 99 to 249 or something crazy like that. And I contemplated whether I even wanted to continue forward with it, but I did, of course, because I love boxing, and I think that the subscription model adds a different type of element to it, because we do get a number of solid top level fights that happen just based on being a part of the subscription in itself. And if you're going to have a pay-per-view thrown on top of it, then I would certainly take it at this price. And then for the caliber of card, most certainly it was worth the price of admission. Now, I will say that for any pay-per-view, it's kind of relative as far as what you would pay for a fight you would want to see. For instance, I know Clubber mentioned Pacquiao Mayweather. I would have paid any price to see that on pay-per-view, and just for that simple fight in itself alone. And I think those are the dynamics that are at play. So it depends on the fight you want to see. Bud versus Spence, that's another one. I was like, hey, I want to see this by any means necessary.
Take my money.
And I'll pay whatever that pay-per-view price is to actually watch this contest. So I think it is relative. But as far as the amount of marquee fights that you got for that price there, which will generally go with between, I guess, $25 and $30, I think, yeah, spot on. You couldn't ask for more. And we'll see if all continue to be that way, but I will say that the last couple have been around that price point. I remember getting a previous pay-per-view on the Zone, and it was $19.99, somewhere in around there, about $20. And I did get the Benavidez versus Morrell card. That was an $80 pay-per-view. The way I looked at it, you had about $20 per fight that you were paying for, because it was 4 fights on the pay-per-view card in itself. With this one, you just look at the price per fight. I mean, you can't beat that.
Nope.
Yeah, no. I mean, for the whole kit and caboodle, as they say, to be able to get that many fights at $30. I mean, you're looking. I mean, obviously, you're looking at what, 7 fights and $30. That's 7 times 3 is 27. So you're looking at a $750 a fight, maybe. I mean, even less than that. That's amazing. So
just to add in one real quick, with the Zone, you got boxing pretty much every week with that. But for me, I like MMA, so they have the PFL and they have their fights, PFL Europe. They also have bare knuckle fighting. They had the Alvarez versus Jeremy Stevens fight. That was pay-per-view for free on the Zone. So now they have BKFC on the Zone. So there's a lot of stuff, for the Zone subscribers to watch besides boxing. Their combat sports got way better.
Yeah, and if I could say, I think they're trying to rival some of the major networks. You could argue they're there, so they're getting these different leagues. You've seen that kind of shift here over the course of time, because there are a ton of things on there. I guess the more direct rival would seem to be ESPN, as far as the amount of offerings that they have for what is sports coverage overall. So I think it is going to be interesting if they are able to pull in PBC, as mentioned, which is sort of like the last one holding out. Then they will pretty much have boxing fully under the Zone. And if you want to go and see anything boxing related, you will go there to the Zone, because Top Rank, their deal is going to be up here with ESPN, and in all likelihood, they're going to be going to the Zone. So that right there, I would say I'd appreciate it from the perspective of, okay, and then I can get rid of some of these other streaming services as I have over the course of boxing shifting and moving to different platforms.
Yeah, right. No, that makes 100% sense. And actually, I need to correct myself because I cannot say I'm a math expert and then come out here and tell people that 7 times 3 is 27. What the hell is that? First of all, it's 9 times 3 is 27, not 7. So forgive me for my total lapse of thought process right there. So anyways, it does come out to about $450 a fight because it is 7 times 4 is 28. So
I'll take that all day.
Mhm.
all right. So, but you did mention the Lamont Roach Gervonta Tank Davis fight this weekend. So before we get into the actual card that we saw this weekend, let's kick it off with our thoughts about this. Clubber D, start us off.
Shout out to my cousin. You met her when we were out in Vegas, Felicia. She's going to be at that fight up in Barclays. So my cousin's going to be out there. I should tell her sneak backstage, get some pics. And shout out to Live with Light Skin Lou. Him and Kiki are there. I saw them on the train. They're heading up there right now. So I'm anxious to see all the pictures he takes while he's out there. But this fight, it seems very lukewarm. Like kind of a lot of people aren't talking about this fight. There's no real drama between the two. I mean, there's little words back and forth. They fought before in amateurs, but there's no like severe like bad blood. Like no one's pinning it to be DC versus Baltimore type thing. I know they were on the Breakfast Club talking about it, and Just Hilarious had made fun of Lamont Roach's accent, saying that DC has a bad accent the way they talk. And I'm like, you got some nerve from Baltimore to and do and all that. Like, what are you talking about? But this fight's coming up, and nobody's talking about it. It's not really on. I don't understand the promotion for this fight. There's not much to be said as far as there's no commercials, there's no banners about it. I'm not seeing local clubs promoting it besides one club I've seen online saying, hey, come, or bar or whatever, to come watch the fight. So it's kind of weird. I'm not understanding what is the issue with Gervonta Davis. And I'm saying this because they put him as one of the faces of boxing. If you know when Canelo's fighting, okay, the hype is there. The hype is like everyone can't wait. If we were in the UK, when Joshua was fighting, regardless of how he's looked in his past 5 fights, you know what I'm saying? So when you're at that mega level, I feel like people aren't sized DC area word for Gervonta Davis right now. I don't understand what's going on. So this undercard is actually not bad. Like Gary is it Gary Antoine?
Yes, Antoine. Yeah,
it's Gary Antoine. He's going against El Rayo, and that's a fight that I really want to see. And they had another one on the undercard. I want. You got the card in front of you, Omar, by any chance?
But I'll pull it up.
Yeah, because it's actually a decent card, opposed to what PBC has been giving us. And
I know Tellez versus Julian Williams. That's
J-Rock. J-Rock's on it. Yep, that's what it is. So I think it's just because it's another fighter coming from a smaller weight class that Tank is fighting, opposed to who the world wants him to see is fighting one of the 3. Keyshawn, I understand that, but Lomachenko or Shakur, that's who we want him to see. If it's not one of them, no one's really caring no more. The jig is up, or the gig is up, whatever they say when it comes to Tank.
But you're completely right. Before we go to Josh, I want to back you up because I didn't even realize the fight was this weekend until you told me the other day. And I was like, what? Wait, I haven't seen any promotions for any of this fight coming up. And that's a fight that I would actually be interested in seeing. You know what I mean? So anyways, I got the card up here I did have the card up there. I apologize. So while I get that up, Josh, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, so for certainly the area, I mean, there is that attachment there with both of the guys being here from the DMV, thinking about Maryland specifically. And it certainly would have been cool to have it take place here in DC, something of that nature, at the Capital One Arena or whatever it may have been. It was initially going to be in Houston, then it switched to the Barclays there in Brooklyn. But Brooklyn, of course, that's not too far off from us. And Tank has fought in the Barclays prior. Now, I thought about being there myself, actually attending the fight. I ultimately opted not to. Now, there are also some other local fighters from the area who are going to be on that card as well. So as the card in itself shaped up, it's not too bad, as Clubber D mentioned there. Now, yeah, in terms of the buzz, I don't know, it seems to have been the PBC strategy where they, I guess, let the stars rely on just their natural buzz or social media, whatever they may be doing out there. Because outside of course, the press conferences, I have seen some posters, but I don't recall seeing a promo video of any type. And I was chatting with someone else about that not too long ago. And I'm guessing maybe that's not a part of the budget. From all indications, PBC, at least in this deal with Amazon, what thus far has been, maybe this is the third or fourth show, maybe the fourth show or something of that nature. And this deal was signed last year. I could be off numbers wise, but maybe they just don't account for that type of marketing in the budget. And you see with the Zone, they go all out with the promos, but especially they're even more elaborate now that Turkey is involved. And there's something to those, and I think those generate buzz as well. Another piece of it, of course, is sort of the fact that Lamont Roach, he is a champion, very, very good fighter, but he is moving up in weight to take on Tank at a different weight. And there are, of course, some other fights at 135 pounds with some legitimate 135 pounders that we want to see who are out there, who have enough name buzz just as much there as Lamont, if not more, and we aren't getting those. So I don't know what the overall strategy, the ultimate end goal is, but I guess for Tank, a benefit for him in terms of his buying power is, I had seen an article or something referencing the gate intended to be the biggest gate there at Barclays for, I'm guessing, a sporting event in general. So I guess that would include the basketball stuff that is taking place as well.
Interesting.
So if that's the case, then that's a nod to his buying power. But you can certainly ask and think about what would an extra boost do in terms of the type of promos they do over there for these events that they've been putting on with the Zone. You would have to think that it probably adds more fans in the mix there, has more people going after their pay-per-views. And then, of course, one of the things we were talking about, the price point, because this one is going to be that normal price point of around $80, I would suppose. And of course, that's going to make a determination on whether people actually pay for the pay-per-view, especially right now. I think a lot of people are certainly looking at kind of where things are economically, and that 25 or 30 bucks certainly sounds a lot better than 80 bucks right now. So we'll see how it does.
Yeah, I think with Amazon, the deal, they just have the viewership deal. I don't think they're paying any money to the fighters or promotion. I think that's all on Al Heyman. So I think that's why we're not seeing the same thing like Turkey. He has endless bank account, so he can do whatever. But that's why I think they're kind of scaling back opposed when he was on Showtime. Showtime was paying for all that stuff. Now he has to front the money, and that's why we're seeing a lot of fighters on the shelf and maybe fighting once a year. Or, I didn't know Jared Hurd was on this card. I was like, hey, I'd like to see him do well. But I think it's an issue more with the PBC when it comes to the money and Tank. That's why Tank's, I honestly think that since he's not getting promoted the way he wants to be promoted, he's putting that effort in and promoting the fight. That's what I feel like he's doing.
Yeah. And shout out to everybody watching. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Bud File says hello, people. Salute. We appreciate you. I saw you there earlier. I was just trying to find a good time to get that comment in. Morning Wombat. Shout out as well. Thank you again for tuning in. We know you were here last time with us. Shout out. Says, I'm not trying to discredit, Roach, but I've been disappointed with Tank's recent moves. Frank Martin is talented, but he's not really demonstrating a willingness to take big risks. He continues. The Garcia fight was a high-profile fight, but even that had the rehydration clause. My suspicion is he recognizes Shakur has pound-for-pound level skills and views that fight as high risk with little reward. He continues. I think Russell will be too dynamic and athletic for Rayo. Oh, this is from the Rayo fight. I apologize. I thought that was continuing the last comment. Let's start with that last comment. So what do y'all think about that last comment about what he's saying about Tank's recent moves and approach to his fights?
I think styles make fights. They sparred before, just like he sparred Haney, and we haven't seen Tank in that fight somebody in that type of style. A slick fighter. Shakur's not going to knock. He's not a knockout artist. He's a slick fighter. He's going to outpoint you things of that nature. So we haven't really seen Tank fight somebody like that yet. We just think he come straight at him. So right now, in the point in his career, him being 30 years old, and him saying, "I only want to fight champions," That's what we need to see. So I don't hear this stuff about Shakur will get knocked out. Shakur will then knock him out, take his belt. What is more satisfying than knocking someone out? You said that is trash, and you take their belt. This is boxing. So what for the fans that disagree? Some fans disagree. Say, "Oh, he doesn't have to fight him." What are you talking about? Why? Okay, but yeah, just if he's trash, just knock him out and take his belt. We would like to see it.
Yeah, Josh, what do you think?
Hey, I think that's a valid point there. I think what Morning Wombat has stated, and cheers to you there, there's some validity there. There are fights to be made at 135 pounds. Now, Lamont Roach, he's a good fighter, and he's gonna continue to be the champion at 130 pounds. So he's moving up for the first time for this particular contest. And then the other things that Morning Wombat mentioned, they are valid. There was a rehydration clause with Ryan Garcia. There wasn't, as far as I recall, with Mario Barrios. And
that's a 10 pound. It was a 10 pounder. He had a 10 pound with Mario.
Oh, he had a 10 pounder? Okay.
Yeah,
so,
up, yep.
All right. So, I stand corrected there. But I just remember that one. It took place at 140, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took place at 140 pounds. Okay. So there was a clause there. I don't know. It's interesting, especially when you have people you can take on there at 135. That being said, when you're in a certain position, you can dictate, and he's in the position to where he can dictate who he wants to face, because as far as the live gate, people do seem to come out. They come out, show love, all of that stuff. And I think that he has, of course, some of the boxing fans who may be more on the hardcore side, but I think he also has a number of the casual boxing fans that are on his side as well. Those that just kind of see the bravado, see that, okay, this guy is a knockout artist and all of that stuff. So he gets some of that casual fan. He gets them wanting to actually attend the event. And I think they've done a good job of putting him in certain locations as well, like in Atlanta, this is Houston. They were going to do this one there, of course, New York and all that stuff. So I think that all adds to it. So as long as he can get people to show up at the actual gate, I think they're going to look at that as an upside. And it's like a matter of, hey, we can throw him in with whoever.
Yep.
Yeah, and so Morning Wombat says as well, and we'll get into the card right here. I had it up. I apologize that I had it up while you were speaking, Josh. I thought we were going to go into it, so that's why I put it up. But I'll put it up again. I think Russell will be too dynamic and athletic for Rayo. Russell showed a lack of composure experience in his recent loss, and people don't give Puello credit for being crafty and picking his shots. So now that's said, let's go ahead and take a look at the card. This is the card here on the right-hand side, as you can see. So just a quick glance. Obviously, you got the main event. You got the Rayo versus Russell that we just talked about. Jose Valenzuela. You got Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin. Yoenis Tellez versus Williams. Jarrett Hurd versus Johan Gonzalez. Tariq Green versus, I don't know what his name is, N. Smith. And then some other fights here. So are there any other fights that y'all like on this card or you think people should look out for?
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, yeah, certainly. So the N. Smith, Nasheed Smith, he's a prospect on his way up. He's out at the Headbangers Gym here in D.C. Very good. Okay. He fought on Team Combat League, so he's going to be one to watch. And I'm pretty positive he's going to get the job done there. I do know of David Whitmore as well. He's out of this area. He started out 8-0. He's a very solid young prospect as well. I remember a lot of these youngsters as an amateur, and they've recently turned pro here in recent years. So he's one to look out for, along with Derek Scooter Davis, another one out of Headbangers who is top flight. His body work, some of the best you can expect for a guy so young and at his age. So I'm looking forward to those, but also those other ones up top. I agree with Morning Wombat. I think that Gary Antoine Russell, he understands the dynamic, and I think he's really going to go at Valenzuela, but it should be a pretty good contest. Puello, Sandor Martin, not bad. Sandor Martin, he's a decent, solid fighter there. I do think that Puello might have a little bit more to offer than Sandor, but that is just a fight that's not too bad for two guys who will be technical. Tellez versus Julian Williams, that's a very interesting one, though I think at this particular stage, Yoenis Telez is going to be a handful for J-Rock to deal with, and he might end up getting a stoppage there, to be honest with you. And then we'll see with Hurd and Gonzalez. I'm not really sure.
Okay. Clubber D?
Yeah, I see it. They, like Josh mentioned, they got a lot of people from Headbangers. I think that's where Gervonta Davis has been training with.
Yeah,
he's not with Calvin and Kenny. He's been up with Headbangers up in DC. And shout out to the Headbangers. You know what I'm saying? That's where Paul Williams trained as well. One of my favorite fighters for his accident. But I'm the one fight I didn't even know he was on this card, but Jared Hurd, I'm a big fan of him. Even before he slapped one of the Charlos, I've always liked the local cat. You know what I'm saying? I was at the fight when he lost to J-Rock at where we used to call it the Patriot Center where George Mason plays basketball. I'm eager to see where he is because I remember seeing him a couple years ago. I think it was a Logan Paul Mayweather fight, and he was just getting worked by this guy. And I was like, ooh, might be time to hang it up. But then he's come back, and I guess this maybe his second or third fight since then. So I hopefully it's a good bounce back story. Yeah, I agree. I agree with J-Rock. I don't think he can hang with Telez right now at this point in his career. He's kind of like in the twilight, and I honestly did not know he was still fighting. Sandor Martin, he got robbed, I think, against Teofimo Lopez. You know, I thought he won that fight. But I don't know if he's gonna get Puello. But it's I think Puello will get the nod on this one, probably like a decision. And for Gary Anton Russell, it was kind of like karma because he came out and talked about Devin Haney losing to Ryan Garcia, talking about, you know, peds don't mean nothing and fights and things of that nature. Then he lost to Puello, who got caught with peds before. So go figure. And you know, yeah. And that was for the WBO 140, and then they made Devin Haney the champion recession. Now Puello's the champion of WBC. I'm sorry, 140. So see how that happens. And but I with Wombat on this one. I like El Rayo. I think he's a good fighter, good slick fighter. But I think I think that knockout streak's gonna start again with Gary Anton Russell against El Rayo. I think he's kind of like Virgil Ortiz, where he was like 20 or 19-0 with 19 knockouts, and then his last fight he lost. You know, that was his first fight that he did knock the person out and have to get lost. So he's gonna get back on that knockout streak. And as far as the tank fight, you know, I got this being, you know, 6 rounds. 6. I got 6. I got taken 6. I'll put it like that. And I bet Lamont Roach met his brother. They're great people. But I think he's going against the bigger guy right now. I just, you know.
Oh, that's right. You got the photo with them on Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah, I met them there. Got to see his brother's second fight. Knocked dude out. It was a great card they put. I hope they get invited to another card. But yeah, it was amazing. But yeah.
Okay. And Josh, did you give your prediction for the Gervonta Davis Lamont Roach fight specifically?
I didn't. And I did all those same things Clever D mentioned there regarding the Roach family. Always great, respectful to deal with, you know, and that's one thing that certainly stands out just from an overall perspective. I probably lean a similar direction what I've said. I think that early on, actually, Lamont, he will be in there boxing, and he might gather some rounds there early on. But I do think that the fact that he's moving up, that size is going to factor in. And we know that Tank, he's a guy who does have pop. And while Lamont, he has some knockouts, he's not really a big puncher like that. He gets it done more so boxing. You know, he can hurt guys and drop guys. We've seen that. We saw him hurt Jamel Herring and all of that. But that was at 130 pounds, and he's moving up. And while it's only 5 pounds, I do think it's going to make a difference there in the end. So I think he'll hang in there early, probably do his thing there for a few rounds. But at the end of the day, somewhere midway between there, maybe around 6 or 7, I too think that a stoppage likely happens.
Okay, so KO 6, Clever D, and TKO or KO around the same range, says Josh.
Yeah, in favor of Tank, yeah.
in favor of Tank. Right, both are in favor of Tank. I think everybody is picking Tank in this fight. I am as well. Shout out Rock Chalk True Crime. Hello, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And yes, we couldn't have timed this more perfectly, gentlemen, because we have two more special guests joining us at just the perfect time. First of all, you remember him from last week, and you've seen him on plenty of streams before. His name is... Actually, you know what? No, I like when Clever D does it. Clever D, go ahead. Introduce.
Man, look here. This is heavy on the Poppy, light on the Yayo. No other than Poppy Chun Yayo in the house.
Hey,
Poppy Chun Yayo. Heavy on the Poppy, light on the Yayo. We get straight to it. I came in the what? You already know what I'm doing, fellas. KO 7 by Tank Davis. But I promise you, though, we got to give the boy Lamont Roach his flowers right now because he is highly skilled. He moves nicely. They know each other. They're familiar. Yeah. And I promise you, Tank is not taking Lamont not seriously. He's definitely taking that one seriously. He got a tough challenge. I hope Lamont, put him in some positions where Tank got to show us something new. But I'm still taking Tank by the sleepy.
Yeah, so another Tank KO in 7. And by the way, I've got to shout out that slick-ass World Baseball Classic Dominican Republic jersey. That's fire.
Independence Day.
Yes, the Tatis.
Okay,
Independence Day.
Tatis is a superstar. So,
yes, sir.
And he was a superstar even before he took the PEDs, y'all. So don't be hating on him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What's up there, Poppy? What's up?
Hey, listen, bro. But baseball, I don't know.
Hey, I don't know.
But you know who else is a global superstar, and he's about to be introduced. He don't need no PEDs, but he runs a huge boxing network that y'all better make sure you are tapping into. His name is Skywalker, and he represents his company, Skywalker Boxing Media.
Legend.
What's up, brother? How are we doing, my friend?
Hey, brothers.
There he is.
Guys, man.
What's going on, man?
Salute, man. I got Tank Davis with the KO, but I think Lamont Roach is a lot better than Frank Martin. He's going to bring it. So I'm going to say later rounds. I'm going to say like round 10, 9 or 10.
Okay, so wow. Okay, you think Lamont is going to put up a little bit better of a fight, keep in there a little longer?
Yeah, a little bit longer than Frank Martin, I believe.
Okay. I think we all agree, though. Like I said, I think we're all picking Tank in this fight. I agree. I think it'll be a stoppage probably. I do like Lamont. I like his style. I've been looking a lot more into him ever since Clubber D mentioned meeting them at that at the event that they were at. And so I do like his style, but I mean, Tank Davis is a face of the sport, one of the faces of the sport, like Clubber D said, for a reason, because he is that good. So while I do see him staying in maybe a little longer, I still see Tank getting him out of there 8, 9, maybe, maybe even shorter than that. So cool. All right. Awesome. Well, that was great talk on that. And now that we got our special guest here, oh, by the way, before we move on to the main card from this past weekend, give your quick predictions on that co-main event there, Poppy and Skywalker. It's Jose Valenzuela versus
Gary Antoine.
Gary Antoine.
Yeah.
I got Gary Antoine Russell. I know he's not very active. He doesn't fight a lot, very often. But his style, bro, is just that relentless pressure, that come forward style. His style is different than his brothers. You know what I'm saying? As far as Russell. And
what the heck just happened?
I'm gonna have him by Theo. I know it just.
What was that?
I have Gary Antoine Russell knocking out El Rayo. Fourth round. I say fourth round. He's gonna keep bringing it.
Yeah, I'm with Skywalker on the Gary Russell thing, but listen again. I gotta give props to the other guy, man. Valenzuela, he's highly skilled. He got his redemption. He does got a little crack in him too, bro. Like he can pop. Listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it this way because I respect him so much. I think it's actually possible that both of them hit the canvas. I like to say that. That's my way of giving credit to him because I do know that he's slick, and both of them are slick. I could just see a 50-50 exchange where one of them get caught, but ain't neither one of them they ain't got no BIT, you know what in them. Mm-hmm. They some real dogs, and they gonna get at it, and it's gonna just. I love boxing right now. They gonna give us what we want to see as fans.
You can ask Chris Colbert about his power, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was one of my almost knockouts of the year.
Man,
last year.
Man, he slid him into a Diddy baby oil position.
Oh, he was face down.
between him and our guy that from the Philippines, I can't remember his name right now. You know what I'm talking about, Josh? Ashton.
Oh yes.
Ashton. Yeah.
Ooh, between those two right there,
Ashton
that's some stuff I'll never forget.
H2O.
Yeah, he knocked the color out of Colbert's hair.
Way, bro.
Colbert's hair turned black. I was like, oh, went from blonde to black. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Angel Diaz says, I have Gary Antoine winning this one. So another one there agreeing with you there, Skywalker.
Some people are probably gonna say, El Rayo can handle that come forward pressure because he just fought Pitbull, right? Yeah. But Gary Antoine can mix it up. He's got more head movement. He knows that box. He knows how to box. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he just likes to bang. So you're gonna get a mixture of both with Gary Antoine Russell this fight because he's gonna be fighting a boxer. Wow.
Yeah, Gary Antoine is an Olympian, so he can rely on those boxing skills where he needs them. And, and it was something kind of alluded to as far as with Gary Antoine coming into that Puello fight, he had been out for a good little bit. Now, he started out, he was fighting often. Some of that might have just been virtue of getting a date with PBC. For this one, he will have been out for a good while as well, though I think he will overcome such. But some of that with Puello, I would think, could have been activity.
Oh, hey, make it official. Put me down for KO7 for Russell.
Okay, so all right, here we go. A lot of people taking Russell there in this fight. So Morty Wombat came through with what you were talking about, Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. Right as I was saying that.
Yeah,
he's agreeing with me though. I didn't, I was thinking that maybe someone was gonna say Rayo is going to do the same thing. Hey, it could happen. Who knows, man, right? Shit, who knows, man? Rayo put on a good performance against Pitbull, but Pitbull, like me and Ernest, it's just a one direction, you know what I'm saying? It's a freight train coming at you, bro.
No jabs.
Yeah.
That's why he was made perfect for Tank.
Yeah. All bricks, no jabs.
All bricks, yo.
And so like you said, Pitbull is not the most difficult fighter to game plan for if you stick and move and stay aware of the power coming back, just like you said. So, thank you again, everybody tuning in. Make sure you tap in with everybody on this channel. 86 Boxing, 86 Sports, Skywalker Boxing Media, Papi Chunyeyo, Clever D, and Ball and Buds. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank y'all so much. All right, let's get into this main card then. From this weekend, this is what the people came for. So I'm just going to put this up real quick, and then we'll go back to the main screen. But as you can see here, these were the first 4 fights of the night. And so I'm just going to run really quick through the results, and then we'll go back to full screen and we'll go through these individually. But Callum Smith did beat Joshua Buatsi. Agit Kabayel took out Zhe Li Zhang. And again, we'll get further into these fights in just a second, but I'm just going to announce the results. Virgil Ortiz over Israel Madrimov, and a split decision between Carlos Adames and Hamzat Shiraz, who this was controversial on the online. I see Clever D shaking his head, so we'll definitely get to his opinion on that in just a moment. But let's go ahead and start with this first fight down here. Callum Smith in the victory over Joshua Buatsi. I believe most of us took Buatsi in this fight. Did you not, Skywalker?
I was in the chat for you guys, and I said, hey, don't sleep on Callum Smith because he's fought better beef. And I didn't pick it In the prediction league, I picked Boaty. You know what I'm saying? I'll straight up.
Well, then don't come on here acting all high and mighty.
I did bring up the comment that the experience of who he's fought has made him a better fighter. And you know, we've seen it, man. Right after Canelo, he got a highlight reel knockout, and then he got lost to Beterbiev. He's fighting tough opponents. It's gonna make him tough, man. You know, you throw him in there with someone tough, it's gonna make him tough. So. I think he shocked everybody. You would have won some money too. I think he was an underdog too if you're on the betting odds. So,
I mean, I'm definitely upset I didn't pick him because I really was thinking of picking him before, and then I was so convinced by all of you, especially Josh, with his argument about Buatsi. I was like, oh man, I got to go with him. So then I did, and I was like, damn it. But Callum Smith is an experienced fighter. He's been around a long time. He's no bum, right? He went in there and put up a good fight. So, all right, let's go back around the horn. Papi Chuneo, what did you think about this fight?
Initially, I believe I had Buatsi by split decision. To be honest with you, that was my pick. That's my official pick that I had, and I called the fight a draw. I had a couple fights that night that ended up being a draw, and I usually take notes during the fight and I score round by round so I can know what I'm coming up with. And I had to fight a draw. I don't know, man. It just seems like I don't know. I have an issue with trusting people of color from Europe. It seemed like they let you down. It seemed like every time I see, you know what I'm saying, brown skin dude, I'll be like, oh, he about to give old boy to work. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, he about to give old boy to work. And then next thing you know, it's like, damn, man, this dude, yeah, he ain't got it. He ain't got that same type of that we got here from America. You feel me? They don't be having it, man. Just be missing somehow. That's how I feel about it. But I felt like it was a draw. Could have went either way. But the whole card, every fight on the card had one judge that would have it like 117, 111. It's like, yo, what was you watching?
Yeah,
right.
Every single fight.
And I know we're definitely going to talk about that when it comes to the Adames fight, because I know that's why Clubber D was shaking his head, and I think we're all going to touch on that. But when you do see cards like that are just, you have two cards that are pretty straightforward, and then you have another card that's all off in the wild, it's like, well, come on now. You're obviously being probably a little biased here because maybe you like the fighter or whatever. And I've seen this happen in lower organizations that have, local fights and things like that. But I don't know. Josh, what do you think?
First and foremost, definitely don't make bets based on my picks. I'll tell you that right now. That being said, man, I knew how good Callum Smith was. I just leaned a little bit more in favor of Joshua Buatsi. I thought a little bit more of Joshua Buatsi in where he was at this particular stage, and that's what led me to picking him. And I don't think that we saw the best of Callum Smith in that fight with Canelo, nor the fight with Beterbiev. But I did think that Joshua Buatsi was gonna push all the bad performances aside, or at least those he's had in some of his more recent fights, and show the people like, hey, this is why I was one of the top amateurs. This is why they were counting on me as a pro right here. This is why I was under management of Anthony Joshua. They had me on these DAZN cards, etc. And I will give it to him. He got hurt in that fight, especially to the body, and he fought through. I got to give him that. And he actually was able to land some stuff, and he was able to hurt Callum Smith. I didn't score this particular contest. I only scored the main event, as a matter of fact. But in not scoring it, from what I saw, it seemed that he was more hurt at times than what I saw with Callum Smith, or it seems like he was in some of the worst or bad positions more for the duration of the fight than Callum Smith. And it looked like Callum Smith outpointed him, and that might have been the case there as far as punch stats were concerned. So when it was all said and done, I was thinking to myself, Callum Smith won that fight. No, Ernest mentions he saw it as a draw, so there was a lot of back and forth, so that potentially could have been there as well. But for me, just at face value, I thought Callum Smith put on the performance he needed to put on for a guy who was counted out in most regards, and rightfully so, just thinking about, okay, where's this mindset coming in? But he showed us that, hey, he's not done yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I went ahead and put the scores up there because I wanted people to know what we were referencing. So look at this card right here, 119, 110. Like, what are you watching? Like, where?
Crazy.
Clubber T, what is this guy watching? Tell me.
That was like when I heard the 119, 110, I said, what? I yelled just like that. You know, drop my fork. I was eating pasta that I just made. Drop my fork. I was like, what the hell is this? And I was like, here we go with this stuff. Because I know Ernest did say, you know, I'm all slicing up turkey a la chic and having a fights over there. And Ernest was like, well, you got to watch out. We don't know how it's really going to be over there. And I feel what Papa Chuyeyo was saying about the whole, you know, being a brother from over there. But I figure, you know, he's from Ghana. He's got that, you know, he's got that oomph in him, like maybe like Azula Nelson or Corte back in the day. So, you know, I thought that he was going to win this fight because Callum Smith's coming in at age 34. This is kind of like his last stand. And, you know, you got to let the young bull take over. And he was earlier rounds with the body shots, both of them going back and forth. And then when he cut his eye and he started losing the mid rounds and came back towards the end, I thought he was going to knock him out. I think it was like 10th or 11th. He had Smith really hurt. But when I heard that first score, and I had Buatsi winning, I think maybe split or decision. When I heard that first score, I said, nah, he lost. You know, I wouldn't be mad at a draw or losing by 1 or 2 points, but when I heard that first score, I said, okay, yeah, I know what's going on.
And salute Champ Ross. We really appreciate you tuning in and for running the boxing predictions group. You know, we love that hard work.
I got to put my picks in tonight. Speaking of, thanks for the reminder.
Oh, yeah, I haven't put mine in. But I got 5th place last week. He told me. I was very excited.
Hey, yeah, man, you did work, man.
Omar killing it.
Wow.
I'm reaching for the fences because I missed it was the Monster Inoue fight, and I'm sitting there doing a report. I was like, oh, I got time. I look, I was like, ESPN, the fight's already done. I had my picks, but I didn't want to be like, hey man, I already did it before the fight, so so that's why I'm behind in those. So I'll be swinging for the fences in that thing. I got to catch up somehow.
Okay. No, we don't do no swinging for the fences. These are calculated. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I got a dartboard. I just boop. Okay, round 8, knockout. Bam, going. I'm already behind, so I gotta do something. I need the almanac. Omar, give it to me. Come on, please.
I went through the way I picked him, and I just be going off of records and KOs and going from there. I don't even know what I'm doing. But I'll take 5th place all damn day. Thank you, Champ Ross. He says, I want to see Smith Benavidez. If Benavidez can't get Bivol, we will be getting into that in just a little bit. Everybody stay tuned for that main event. He also says there's always one judge in the bag, and I think we've seen this a few times now. As Papi Chuyeyo was saying, in Saudi Arabia, I think we've seen this multiple times now, haven't we?
MMA and boxing, it's the same story because Dana White deals with the same stuff over in his side of things, and it's across the board. They're guaranteed to be one judge that was on, you know, on that Papi. You know, no, I'm sorry, he's on that. Yeah. No.
I'm gonna talk about these colonizers until I check off this joint. You feel me? My spirit leave. I'm gonna be talking about these colonizers.
That judge is on a toe trip, I think, or DMT or something like that. Someone has some type of offhand score.
And Angel Diaz, they said they do that to set up other boxing matches. I can understand that. I can't. So you can make it a little bit more realistic to at least not show your. I mean, is that what everybody thinks on this panel? Because that's what I think when I see something like that. I think that obviously this person was either biased or there's some sort of. Because I've seen this happen again, like I said, at local organizations where you have these fighters that are brought in by the promoter, and then you have these other fighters that are brought in to fight them, but they're brought in to lose. So then you might have a judge who gives a very off score. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all feel the same way?
Oh my God.
Well, it's interesting. What I will say is that, I don't know. Yeah, judging can be crazy. Just thinking about it on the amateur side, I've been on the wrong end of some. I'm like, what the heck were they looking at? But I will also say that if Vegas is the fight capital, it seems like there will be an incentive to keep Vegas as the fight capital. Same as the case with anywhere that is considered to be the fight capital. But you know, some stuff is very questionable at times. I will say that.
Anybody else got thoughts on that?
I would say this type of stuff isn't new. I mean, look at Pernell Whitaker versus Chavez. Look at Mildred Taylor when he fought Chavez. The last like 9 seconds, he could have lasted 9 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So, I think this isn't new in boxing. Now it's just I don't think it will ever be cured of this sickness of bad judges, because I think picking the judges and refs is a different commission. The promoter has no say so in none of that. So it's not like they can pick what judges they want. I could be wrong. But I know Dana White had that pleasure about that.
I can't remember that lady's name, but there was a lady that had the Floyd Canelo fight.
Adelaide Bird.
Yeah. 114, 114.
Yeah. That's why I knew Canelo was the golden child. After that, that's what I knew. Canelo was it.
That's crazy.
That was crazy.
114, 114.
I said, what kind of what he maybe won one round. That's it, maybe one round.
So that's why I don't know if I agree with the cultural appropriation, him coming out with them sombreros and stuff like that. I don't know if I agree with that, but he do own them.
Can't beat him, join him. Go beat him and join him.
And then that's another subject for another day. But yeah, 114, 114 Adelaide Bird.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that needs to be said. Rolling with the punches. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Says Moonshoe.
Appreciate you, brother.
Rock Chalk, Left T Dutch DNA on that. We appreciate that. Everybody hit that like button for us. As Clubber D said, it's free. So help us out. Boost us up in that algorithm right now. Hit that like button and make sure you subscribe at all these channels.
Yeah.
Skywalker Boxing Media, Papi Chunyeo, Clubber D's on TikTok. You can find Ball and Buds at that QR code up top. Scan that and make sure you subscribe.
Omar's giving out back rubs for everyone who likes. He's giving out back rubs.
Virtual back rubs for everyone. Shout out Big Dog Talk Sports. We appreciate you tuning in. He says if we don't get Beterbiev versus Bivol 3 in a Callum Smith Joshua Boazzi rematch this summer, we riot.
We might have to. We might have to after the news today. We might have to.
Sounds good.
Definitely going to be getting into that main event here in a second. Morning Wombat, did y'all discuss Turkey telling Shiraz Corner that he was down on the cards? I understand Frank.
Oh, yeah.
We can jump to that if y'all want. That don't matter.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and jump straight into that one since that
when you're paying for him, you can do that, I guess.
He says, yelling at him in the corner, but Turkey occupies a different role as the law. He says that's a bad look for sure. So let's go ahead. If anybody has any thoughts on that, go ahead and I'll bring up this card real quick. And so anybody have any thoughts on that?
I'll say something quick on it. We all know it was just a travesty, and Shiraz, he did show his hand. I think one hand is broken, whatever, but may not. It doesn't matter. He lost that fight. Carl Sadamas deserved to be the winner. My only thing with that fight, when Turki Al-Sheikh walked over there and kind of telling him, hey, whatever, you got to win by knockout. That reminded me of the fight with Mario Barros against Tank when Barros was winning that fight. He just like a lot of Tank fights, he was losing. Tank, Floyd Mayweather walked right over to that corner and started talking to Calvin and all of them like he was the extra cornerman. And I'm like, ain't that illegal? Like, so we've seen this. We have before. And what's his name's dad? Oh my God, it's Haitian fighter. He had the trilogy with Victor Ortiz fight. He fought Mayweather also. Andre Berto. His dad would do the same thing on those on the HBO Boxing After Dark cards. He'd walk up there and say, hey, you got to get back. But hey, if you got the money, you can do whatever you want to do. So that's my thoughts on that. So it's a little cheatery.
Anybody else have thoughts on that?
I seen it. I seen that clip that he's referring to, and that was kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? For him, it's kind of like outside interference. That there should be rules. Josh knows better than me as far as an official. If someone were to come up to the ring and give some kind of like I don't know, is that breaking the rule, Josh?
Well, yeah, but I will say this: like on the amateur side, for instance, at the national event, it's open scoring. So for the first 2 rounds, you're gonna know what the score is. You'll be able to tell your fighter that.
Right.
Now, there are still some places in the pros where they do open scoring throughout a contest. But yeah, in the fashion in which it goes down, yeah, that is not allowed as far as what I know from a rule standpoint. Someone there who's sitting as a spectator just coming over and tell, hey, you're down or whatever. So yeah, that part of it I think is pretty much illegal, whether that's amateur or pros, but you can get away with a little bit more there on the pro side.
Hey, look, man. Turkey had a whole city built in 6 months with a boxing ring that came up out of the ground.
That is true.
He can. Who's gonna tell? Hey, bro, go sit down somewhere. What? Cut his tongue off. Feed him to the lions.
Right.
Cut his tongue off.
Cut his tongue off. That's diabolical.
Yeah, feed him to the lions, bro. What
The Lions?
Feed him to the gladiator.
Do whatever he want to do. Yeah, if he want to have some midgets stripping on the pole behind the ring as a distraction in between rounds, he can do that too.
But let's look at these cards here. 114, 115, 114, 114. So again, right, we have two judges that are clearly seeing the same fight. And then we have 118, 110. What is that?
Now, the 118, 110 is probably the more correct card in this contest, actually.
But I'm just saying the dichotomy between those scores. I'm not saying which one is right. I'm saying, like, how do you have that big of a difference?
When something doesn't belong.
So I say, like, I don't know. Maybe there's some incentive there or something.
Okay, so what are the thoughts on this fight? Let's go around the horn. Clubber D, you already gave your thoughts just now. So, Josh, what do you think?
I would say that top to bottom for the card, probably the more disappointing performance for me was the performance of Hamza Shiraz, because I believe that he was going to come in there and show why he's been hyped up, why he is a guy considered next. Now, I heard mention of a hand injury. I'm just finding that out. I don't know what the validity of that is. But that being said, he seemed to be stuck in the same gear and played it super safe. And I think that it was a fairly impressive performance for Adames in dealing with a taller, longer, rangier guy, because Shiraz, you look at him, he's a big dude there for 168 pounds, and we're going to see him probably at 175, could end his career at cruiserweight. And for Adames, the way that he was able to move and come forward the entire fight, stylistically, because he's a solidly built guy as well, I thought that was pretty impressive for me. And Shiraz, he seemed to be stuck in that same gear. You know, really the 1-2, that's all he was doing. Didn't see a lot of variation from him. So I thought it was probably the more disappointing performance, just relative to what I thought he was going to bring to the table in this contest, especially considering Adames, he's been fighting like once a year for the past 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. And Shiraz, man, with all that momentum, couldn't take advantage of it there. So I did think that Adames deserved to win. I wasn't scoring it as mentioned, but looking at it there, man, it's hard to see a draw for sure.
Mm-hmm. Skywalker, what do you think?
That wasn't the Shiraz that we seen that beat Ammo Williams, you know. So didn't establish his jab. That he has a strong jab. Maybe the hand injury that I'm learning of now, maybe that has something to do with it. I wouldn't say robbery, but I do agree with like a draw, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're scoring on points, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you could give Shiraz a little bit on the 1-2s that Josh was talking that he was throwing, but other than that, bro, I don't know. I had Adames kind of edge in the fight, maybe a draw. So yeah, that was my opinion of the fight.
All right, Poppy.
All right, in my notes, I had going through the motions. That's what I had for Hamza. Early on in the fight, man, in my notes, I got he put belt to ass. Every time Adames would come in, that long jab, bap, ooh. I mean, that jab was strong. I was like, okay, put something else with it. Then I just started seeing Adames apply smart pressure. Like he would double the jab to come in and then get to work. His counter shots was crazy. And at some point in the fight, I was like, what's wrong with Shiraz? I said, has he had a back problem or something? Why is he normally it's just that it didn't look like he was all the way there. Mm-hmm. Right. And I was like, all Hamza got to do was push him backwards and it's over. He could just get him up out of there. But Adames made the adjustments, the smart pressure, overhands. Initially I picked Hamza by KO7, but I had in my scorecard I had Adames winning by a round.
Okay, cool. And since you did have Adames winning this fight, I do want to go back around the horn. Did anyone? What are your thoughts about these fighters specifically going forward? Because I know coming into this fight there was a lot of hype about, especially Hamza in general. Where do we think this split draw has put these fighters? If anyone has any opinion on that. Okay.
Hamza, listen. So you're entitled to have people have a bad day sometimes. I just think that he happened to have a bad day. Maybe even if his hand was hurt. I still think there was spots in there where he sort of looked like he had what it took, but I don't think this hurts his stock at all. They end up handing out participation awards apparently, but Hamza is not a participation award. He is the real deal, and I think he still will be a problem for anybody. So he'll be able to get back. That wasn't his night. Are they fasting or something?
Yeah,
I was really trying to figure it out.
Like in a week or two. So
this reminds me of Fundora. This happened to Fundora too. Fundora got taken out by Mendoza, and look where he's at now. He's
crazy.
Everybody says that he's tough, man. You talk to all these elite, and they're like, man, this tall, rangy guy is tough.
I was like, did he have a bad weight cut, bro? He was not sweating for like 5 rounds. There wasn't a lick of sweat on him. I was like, what's going on with him?
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's catch up on these comments here. Champ Ross says the promoter or little minion gets in the ear of the judge just to think who pays the judge. Is it the promoters or the commission? And at you, Josh. So he was talking about the comment you made earlier.
Yeah.
Shout out Seba. We appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate that.
Irish Chris in the house.
Roch Chuck, too many prime drinks with vodka. Okay, my buddy. You stay nice and relaxed at home and enjoy that prime and vodka. Angel Diaz, it was actually less than 5 seconds, so I couldn't believe that. I actually don't know what that's in reference to, so I apologize.
Could have been Mildred Taylor Chavez fight I mentioned earlier.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's right. Yeah. We do have Adelaide Bird coming up. And Champ Ross, yep, we've said that one already. Hey, Rock Chalk, thank you for subscribing.
Appreciate you.
Please make sure you subscribe to these channels. These people put in a lot of hard work to get their channels up and running, and they would really appreciate you subscribing. 86 Boxing, 86 Sports, Skywalker Boxing Media, Papi Chunyeyo, Clubber D on TikTok, and at Ball and Bud on YouTube. We appreciate you. Adelaide Bird, still the judge in Vegas, shows the problem with the system. Vegas Athletic Commission isn't holding bad officials and judges accountable.
Nope.
That's the wife of referee Robert Bird, for those that don't know.
Oh, well,
it is.
Who was also a Vegas referee. He retired now, though. I'm pretty sure or I just haven't seen him in a long time. Maybe he's still out there, but
we need Julie Letterman. We need more of her.
You know what it is. A lot of these people they done been on tape somewhere they wasn't supposed to be. You feel me? Somebody got something on them. They getting blackmailed. Hey, I'm gonna need you to get that scorecard right before I release this tape here to TMZ.
Right. They done found out the background check and found out all kinds of
somebody said she was on the Lolita Express.
Lolita
Express. She was sitting next. They said she was sitting next to Chris Rock and Bill Clinton.
Damn, get out of here.
Lolita
Express. Some Epstein Island type stuff.
Who named Diddler? I tell you.
Morning Wombat. I hear that, but again, Floyd was Tank's individual promoter, whereas Turkey is sort of overseeing the whole card. So he's going back to Turkey talking to boxers about being down in the card. And by the way, do y'all think that should be allowed? Or I know some of you said he pays the bills, so it's whatever he wants to do. But
no, Turkey is the king of boxing, like for the whole entire world. I need you to try to let that sink in a little bit. It's like some Thanos shit, bro. He's the king of the entire world of boxing. If he decides that every great fight is going to be over there, people are trying to cash a check. It's hard times. We in a recession out this.
I mean, he got Canelo on Cinco de Mayo going over there. Okay, now Crawford fights to be in America, but like I said, he is Thanos. So he's missing that one last stone.
Yeah,
that one last stone. It's that, put on a middle finger because you know who runs it. It's that one last PBC stone. He's about to get the top rank stone. Got the Queensberry. Got the Matchroom stone. Got the Golden Boys stone. So it's just one last PBC stone. He needs.
And Al Heyman is like a guy in the shadow. So I'd imagine that's a crazy power dynamic right there, considering the power that Al Heyman has had in the sport. He advises so many boxers. Woo! I would like to be in a meeting between those two.
Hey Eddie, go get me some coffee. Somebody go get Bob Arum to give me the baby oil for my feet.
Well, he loaned out Adamas, right? Because Adamas was PBC.
Yeah.
So wonder what's the back end money on that, or is he just saying, "Hey, if you're gonna pay him, take him"? I don't know how that works. So
I'm sure he was an advisor.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Power brokers in the business make power moves. Champ Ross says, I don't like open scoring.
Neither do I.
I do. I love it. I want to see what judge went with what for what round, because I feel like I heard somebody say Canelo used to get the first 4 rounds in case somebody cut him.
I've heard that.
I want to know what you score per round so I can figure out if you cheating or not.
That Austin Trout Canelo was open scoring, I believe. That was a fight before the winner gets Mayweather, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of open scoring. I'd rather it just be. It should be by the book and don't cheat. But that's asking for a lot nowadays, or for the last whatever years in boxing.
They're like, how old was that little girl that was on that film? You said,
Morning Wombat. Also doesn't help that Shiraz has a sponsorship deal with Riyadh Season as an ambassador. Hard to call that BS decision anything other than home cooking. I had Adames 8-4. So he had a pronounced victory for Adames. Angel Diaz, a draw that would be great to get another fight. Yep, that does happen. We see that. That's true. Rock Chalk, them bad days happen. That's what Papi Chunyeo was saying.
Certainly.
Pause on the notes. So stupid. I didn't even see that was you. I just put that. Definitely got to see the scoring. Yep. So there you go. Open scoring does allow more transparency into the sport of boxing. And I believe, and I mean, obviously, any of y'all can correct me, but because there have been these issues that have gone by for so long, like Celebrity was saying, that's why we have open scoring, is to make sure that we out these judges that are not doing, a good job.
But we don't have it much. On the pro side, we don't have it much.
Okay. There you go. Okay, cool. Did you guys talk the 10 card? We did. Yes, Adam. If you go back to the beginning,
Here's Adam.
or actually, no, go back about midway, about 30 minutes in, you can hear all the predictions from all the
6.
Actually, go right to when you see Skywalker and Poppy come in, and go a couple seconds before that, and you'll get all the decisions. Open scoring takes away the unexpected in the fight, the drama. Okay, that is true. That is true. You know what's going on the whole time.
Hey, the people in the crowd don't know what's going on, Champ.
That's true. So you mean
we got commercials, the entertainment,
but that kind of adds to it. If I'm at a fight, if I go to Stadionless versus Boots in Jersey in April, and I'm like, okay, split decision, everyone's on pins and needles, and you hear the correct call, you're like, everybody goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? If it was open scoring, it's like, all right, well, 1, 2, okay, well, yeah, he won. All right, I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I think it still adds to it, the whole thing of boxing, But that's just me personally. Not that I would yell, like that again.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever heard you do that in your life. Actually,
no, I'll probably take my shirt off like, whoa.
Rock Chalk says helps keep one honest, and yes, I mean that's true. If you're getting outed when you have bad scores, you're gonna maybe change your ways. But I mean, as y'all said, Adelaide Bird is still a active judge, so hey, it is what it is. All right, cool. Let's move it on to the next fight. We have Zheli Zhang versus Agit Kabayel. And so
German.
Here, my homeboy, my brethren from Germany. What was I going to say here? I forgot what I was going to say. 6-round TKO was what this was. 6-round TKO. So Clubber D, start us off here on the Agit Kabayel defeating Zheli Zhang.
I picked for Kabayel to win. I think I got cheated around because we all know.
Oh yeah.
What the hell did the ref do when he was body snatching? He was killing that body, and he stops it for a second, and then it's like, oh well, keep going. Well, wait a minute. He should knock him out. But I think I got cheated around. I would have been maybe spot on. But yeah, I thought Kabayel did what he was supposed to do. This guy. I think this whole card, if you look at it from Buate all the way to the last fight with Bivol, everybody makes a point to go to the body. All high-level top boxers go to the body, and this proves you don't have to be. It doesn't matter how big you are. If you got that doughy middle, it's going to get molded into something. That's what happened. So
that was good. That was bars right there.
Thank you.
That was bars. I like that. Kabayel body work is no joke. So Champ Ross agreeing with you there. Josh, what do you think?
I think I was the only one that actually picked Jang to win this fight.
I
will say 2 fights on this card. We'll talk about one later. When they announced the weight, it made me kind of think a little bit differently there. Jang was 287 in there, and I'm like, hey, in some of his worst performances, he's been a little bit higher there, and he looked very loose in the midsection. Now, Caballero, hey, he's the real deal. Call him the Monster Slayer because he seems to do that right there. And the way he dials in on the body, I think that's like a recipe. So you throw these monsters in front of him, he dials in on the body, he gets it done. And, man, it's going to be tough to pick against Caballero here moving forward. And as far as Jang, very disappointing right there. I would say that's probably the second most disappointing performance on this card right there. Just thinking about what Hamza is capable of, and then just seeing Jang there by the 4th round, his mouth was open probably by the 3rd round. He's just looking like he didn't belong, really.
He was banged out. No bang for him. He was banged out.
I mean, no way your conditioning should be that bad.
Damn, somebody broke some dishes back there. Who was recording in a restaurant? I don't know what's happening.
He was banged out.
Skywalker, what do you think?
Oh man, great performance, man. The German's the truth, man. Kind of came out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, on the radar of everybody, you know what I'm saying. Had a great win over Frank Sanchez, and age is a factor, man. I think a lot of people had Caballero because the age factor, and Zhang's good, but like Josh pointed out, man, he was kind of too big, man. And when you're too big, you can't move. Zhang's got some good boxing technique when he's slimmer. He can move around. And this fight right here, man, he was too big. So,
yeah, Adam Hurley says Zhang gas is out quick as fuck. I was about to say.
Hey, look, bang bang got bang bang.
Hey, whoa.
Hey, I told y'all what was gonna happen. I ain't gonna lie. I picked KO7. I was like, come on, I know it's gonna be KO7. But let me give Zhang some credit real quick, right? That first round had your boy nervous. I was like, yo, how is he moving like that? Cutting the ring off, the pressure. I think I felt like he almost put Caballero to sleep for a second in the first round. Bro, he hit him with that thing, and Caballero was like, oh, all right. And then he just commenced to just banging that body out. You could just see Zhang slowing down. His ribs all red. Man, I was like, oh, this is abuse. Like, he's punishing him, bro. Like, punishing him. I was like, it's only a matter of time. I am a huge fan of Caballero and Bacoli. I think those are my 2 sleepers in the heavyweight division for now, and that's just how I feel about it. Caballero is the goods. And he just looks the way he looked. He's deceptively athletic, and his work rate is ridiculous for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
So I need to see Caballero fight our heavyweight from here. Our Olympian dude. I need to see that.
Anderson.
No, not Anderson.
Torres.
Torres.
That'd be crazy.
I need
Skywalker's not a fan of him.
That's gonna be some work. Some work will get gave out there if I see that.
I don't know if he's ready for that right now. We'll see.
Valdez, man, he'll sign everybody's autographs, man. I mean, there'll be like 500 Albuquerque people there, bro, all lined up, and he'll see every single one of them, But I see it different with other stars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rock Chalk says Zhang needed more zing. Yes, there you go. That's and yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what got knocked out of him, but he had a lot of stuff knocked out of him. That fight,
on
that right side. I'm not gonna say.
Also, his whole analysis of that fight, but I appreciate the in-depth analysis.
Chinese Shrek. That's what I called it.
When was the last time y'all can remember a heavyweight with body punching attack like Caballero? Impressive work rate.
No. Yeah, right. And when that referee
moving like that.
Well, yeah, Chris Bird, good one. Yeah. Very technically sound. That's how he was able to beat some of those bigger heavyweights as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when that referee stepped in, I think that might have been like the 3rd or 4th round. I think he thought that Jang was about to go down. He lost sight for a second, sending him into the neutral corner.
I was like,
and Jang just hunched over. He could have stopped the fight right there, honestly.
I was like, hey, what y'all doing?
Put him in a body cast. He's on that same machine Bruce Lee was on to try to recover from the spinal kick.
So it's Rush Hour 2 when they at the dojo.
Crazy. So he got a gift right there.
Hey, Guido's real tall too, man. He's gonna be towering over Torres.
Yeah, Adam Hurley says Torres has a fight with Guido.
That's
not a bad one.
This will tell us a little something right here for Torres for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Awesome. All right, cool. Let's move it into the next fight. We have Virgil Ortiz taking out Israel Madrimov via unanimous decision. So this was a tough fight. I enjoyed watching this fight. And I know most of us, or I think some of us at least, I know I did, picked him to KO him because of his KO record. I remember asking y'all about that, but it was not a KO. It was a unanimous decision. So how do we feel about this fight? We'll go back around the horn the other way. Papi Chuneo, start us off.
All right. So Madrimov still got his damn hands in his damn pockets. All this feinting and moving and doing this, bro. This is boxing, bro. You got to throw them hands, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I picked Madrimov by KO. I thought he was gonna have his hands out of his pocket. He was gonna get back to the work he was doing pre-Bud, and I just, and I was watching Virgil, and I was like, man, damn, Virgil be bullshitting, bro. Like, he can't cut the ring off. Like, he had a hard time cutting the ring off. Madrimov, he did a lot of moving and there wasn't a lot of punching. But when Virgil did get to him and he got within range, man, Virgil was digging at the body. He was letting the hands go like the typical Virgil. Madrimov did set him up a couple times, but the punches was mostly caught on the gloves and blocked a little bit. Honestly, I had Virgil. I think I had Virgil winning by 1 round.
Okay. And now you see, I put the scorecards up here, so thank you for telling us that. Papi had him winning by 1 round. The cards, 115, 113 on 2 cards, and one judge had it 117, 111. So Skywalker, how do you feel about this fight?
I had it 115, 113. Virgil. Virgil did pretty good, man. I like some of his little sneaky tricks he was pulling on Madrimov, like punching his guard out of the way. I don't know if you've seen them hammer fists at the guard. He was like throwing that shit, and then he would go to the body. Mm-hmm. He was mixing it up, bro. It was a great performance from Virgil. I thought Virgil was going to get the knockout, but Madrimov, very sound fighter, you know what I'm saying? Moves around a lot. Great fight. I was in El Paso, I was at a title fight for Stephanie Hahn, so I was on the go. I had checked out of my hotel room, and I landed at Peter Piper Pizza. I don't know if you know what that is.
Peter Piper Pizza.
Kids can play, you know what I'm saying? So I was watching, ordering pizza, getting tokens while this fight's going on, trying to I watched about I watched the half end of the fight. So I say the first half I kind of miss,
Okay, cool.
I got the Peter Piper.
Yeah. You need a spot to watch the fight, let the kids play and watch the fight on the phone,
That's perfect.
Shout out Brian Corbett for tuning in.
Cheers, Brian.
What's up?
Hey, so my thoughts are, I thought Ortiz showed his range in this contest, and relative to the opponent he was in with, you could argue his most impressive performance, given what we know of Madrimov, his capabilities. And one of the things that I guess stood out was the fact that Ortiz, he didn't get sloppy and reckless, even though he was having a hard time catching up to him there through the early portion of the fight. He seemed to maintain his composure, and by the end of the fight, he had Madrimov forced to have some exchanges, and of course, Ortiz got the better of those. And as it relates to Madrimov, damn good fighter, a lot of amateur experience, as mentioned. You have 350 fights. One of the things you have to ask yourself, when is constant movement too much movement? And that may be a thing that kind of came into the fold with him, because I'd imagine he could in maybe some miles in the way that he was bouncing around that ring. And you just had to think to yourself, especially as the rounds wore on, he wasn't going to be able to just keep that up that entire time, right? And I think that's what his downfall might have been. He should have exchanged a bit more And probably when he goes back and look at it, he'll see that. He'll think to himself, man, yeah, I spent a lot of time there. Like what Ernest mentioned, with his hands in his pockets. He was there on the outside. So it looks impressive stylistically, but when you're doing that, you're really not doing anything after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Clubber D?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with just about what everyone said. I mean, I actually, I'm kind of with Ernest on this one. I picked Madrimov. I don't know if it was a knockout, but I had him winning this fight because you look at Ortiz's last fight with Borchak. You know, he got knocked down 3 times. I thought he lost that fight, but they gave him the nod on that one. And I thought Madrimov was going to set him up, set some traps for him. And I didn't think that his boxing skill level was at that point as at the level of Madrimov's, but showed me a lot. And as Skywalker said, he would peel the guard down, and you think he'd go over top, but he's digging at the body. You know, he was doing a lot of stuff like that to trick Madrimov, and then made Madrimov stop doing his little herky jerky hands by his knees to stand his ground type and really fight. So I thought Vergil Ortiz fought the best fight against Madrimov. It showed me a lot. So, but I had him up by about 2 points. I thought it was a 2-point fight. That one score, I forgot what he put up there. That was a little ridiculous, but that's kind of the theme of this whole card. There's always that one person, that one ugly duckling judge that does what he does.
Yeah, Morning Wombat says Vergil showed a new level. He was very effective in limiting Madrimov's movement. He showed creativity in his combination punching and some tricks with his guard manipulation. He's not just a puncher.
Oh, yeah.
True.
I agree with that. He's more than a puncher there. I picked him coming in, but honestly, I thought it would be a little bit of a more different fight. I thought that Madrimov would fight a bit more in the pocket, but yeah, that didn't happen until late, and he really didn't have a choice but to do it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Brian, oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, Madrimov fell in love with the that Marcus Maidana punch where you punch on top of the head.
The corkscrew thing.
Yeah, he did, like, he went to the bag with that way too much. He should have threw some regular ass left hooks. You know, it's just I just didn't. I saw his skill level with the feet, but man, we over that amateur stuff. Hey, y'all folks in Ukraine, listen, man, that footwork stuff is great for the amateurs. Yeah, but man, and the professionals, man, we sit there trying to see, move a little bit and bang. Don't be 2 feet out of the way when it's time to counter. Like, that's
was it me? Or was the ref a little too much on Madrimov? Every time they pulled him apart, he was no, don't do this, don't do that. And I was like, Ortiz doing some stuff. Why are you all up on Madrimov this whole fight? But I thought the ref was kind of biased, as my dog is doing something over there. A little bias being too hard on Madrimov, but that was just me.
Let me say this about the card. I want to know if any of you guys noticed this. Did you guys notice that the energy there is mad different?
Because they got money. They spent a lot. That was only like 7,000 people. So I think it's
they moved it. Apparently, they moved it from a larger arena it was going to be in, or stadium, whatever. It's like 26,000 or something, or 20-something thousand. I'm guessing, to this smaller venue.
Yeah, it's a smaller venue. I think the smaller venue is probably the ticket prices were so those fans aren't kind of like us, you know, we're they're kind of like, okay.
Yeah. They give the Japanese fans a run for their money.
Yeah. For me, that's exactly why they can't have it. They can't have the whole thing. You can't have the whole thing, man. You don't got the right type of crowd there. They're not die-hard boxing fans. Some of them cats are just probably over there just they on vacation chilling somewhere and there's something to do. Like,
they just got a liquor license, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, after like 90 years of no alcohol.
I was trying to count the amount of women in the crowd. I was like, let me see.
Not a lot.
Go one right there.
They're never a lot.
She ain't covered.
Yeah, there are never a lot of women there. And you know, one of the things I was thinking about as well is I wonder how much or how many of those tickets are actual like paying customers, or these are just comps. I'd have figured like the majority of them, they're just complimentary tickets. That's the vibe that I get when I see some of these events like that they put on there.
You think about it, one row of people, probably in the third row near Turkey Al Sheikh, that whole row, their bank account is probably like, you know, how many other boxing cards put together.
Yeah. What you saw was what we call a plantation master, a plantation owner. Everybody in that second row owns some type of plantation somewhere. Those were billionaires.
Yeah.
They're billionaires who enjoy sports. So You see some weird looking people, you know what I'm saying? Like they got bread. And
and I agree with Josh. I think a lot of it was just like he buys the tickets and then gives them out to his friends, family, close acquaintances, business clients, things like that. So
hey man, you can fly me over.
Yeah.
I'll take the stipend. What's up with it?
Right.
Turkey, holla at us, Turkey. Come on.
They're trying to promote more tourism. I know that for a fact. That's like their main goal. They want tourism. You know what I'm saying?
They are, but one of the issues is going to come into play in the future is the fact that they're still not fully allowing people to drink alcohol. For like the World Cup, they're not having any alcohol at all. So you can't expect soccer fans to want to go travel to Saudi Arabia when soccer fans are very heavy drinkers anyways. And you expect them not to want to drink while they're cheering on their team.
Same thing with boxing.
I agree. I agree that I think we're seeing sort of the Saudi expansion here real time. We're living it real time. So it'll be interesting, say 30 years from now, where they are, because we're just getting this real introduction to them. And I think that they are still evolving societally, and it's going to take a little bit.
They do it, bro. The Lions will have full bellies. Because the first dude to get drunk and be like, hey, Turkey, I heard you ain't got no drawers on, cuz. Feed them to the Lions.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not flying over there with you, Poppy Cool. Yeah, I tell you that.
Right. Poppy gonna get us all hacked up.
Bro, I used to get people in trouble in the military because I'd be cracking jokes and laughing under my breath, and the person next to me be laughing. Yeah, learn how to hold it.
Great. So we got a couple more comments here. Let's see. Majimov wasn't accustomed to the aggression. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Morning Wombat. Very true. The atmosphere was shockingly dead for such a stacked card. Consider the fact that there's a lot of social repression. That's what we just talked about, right? In Saudi Arabia, they're limited in their freedoms, very limited in everything they can do. Now, I will say, and we'll get to the main event here, and we got 2 more fights before the main. But at least the main event, I thought that they were actually getting up, cheering, being very excited. At least in my eyes, is what I saw. So maybe that was just the main event. But Adam Hurley, hey, thank you, brother. We know exactly what you're saying. All of us on this stream right now know the highs and lows of getting subscribers to your damn YouTube channel. So help everyone out here. If you're watching right now, please help every one of these panelists out and go subscribe to their channel. We would all really, truly appreciate it.
Yeah, it's hard to get eyes over here when you got girls that look real good and got them things on screen. Dudes is like, I ain't trying to hear what they talk about. I'm trying to see what they look at, what they do. I mean,
you're usually spot on, and that is very, very accurate.
Very true. When a lot of sports, some of these ladies do know what they're talking about. Some are fed information, but when they guys rather watch that.
Easy to look upon.
I'm not going to name any names because I'm not here to call nobody out, and the person is actually really cool. But there is a female who got a channel started way after I started my channel, and quickly is already up to like thousands of subscribers. And I'm like, what? Okay, I get it. I like to watch her.
Earth knows about those kind of girls.
Yeah. It's different. They find out about me real quick. Be like, yo, shorty, I used to live in Milan, Italy, where the top models in the world, baby. You ain't nothing. Throw away.
Poppy X.
Poppy X. Yeah, yo. You
gotta watch it, bro. It's hard, man. We gotta find the right one to bring on a panel with us sometimes, because you never know what you might say might offend one.
Capital punishment via beheading is not uncommon in Saudi.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't play.
I joke about the stuff, but you still something that hand comes off.
Yeah.
I mean, people learning in Dubai. A lot of these females are getting flown out to Dubai to do certain things, and they act up and they get in jail. You know what I'm saying?
100K. 100K is some laxatives.
There, see what happens. Okay,
laxatives.
Tough here. It's
yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Something to do with a dumpster. The name.
Yeah.
Dumpster or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I've heard of a lot of disgusting stories of
very disgusting.
And make a lot of money and have to do a lot of shit that's going to make them.
100 K for 2 girls in the cups, part 2.
A Blumpkin with no toilet.
Yep. And they are going to regret it the rest of their lives. I can tell you, I've read the horror stories for some of these girls that are like, all the things they did to me, I'm never going to like be able to live with myself again. Well, hey, you should have known that when you flew over to a foreign country for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Talk slick over there, see what happens too.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the next fight. I don't have these two on a picture because obviously these two were late changes. Shakur Stevenson defeats Josh Padley via 9th round TKO. I didn't realize. I believe they said Josh Padley was an electrician or something. And then damn.
He wasn't a bad fighter though.
They had him in his
Start us off. What do you got?
He wasn't a bad fighter because he took Chamberlain's O back in September. He's a decent fighter. He's actually better or more accomplished than what Kid Austin was coming into the fight. And that's another story. We'll talk about that another day about how those lives are just turning around. But I thought this fight, I mean, the guy showed hard. A lot of people, the new thing in boxing now is if you don't like a certain fighter, then whatever they do, you're just not going to like. And everyone's going on Shakur Stevenson saying that, he's boring, he's not a good fighter, he doesn't knock nobody out. That's not his style. Like, did you watch Oscar Valdez fight? He's been in great fights where he just outpushed people, knocked him down. We didn't get him out. I thought he would get him out a lot earlier, but he didn't. But he got to take consideration. Shakur Stevenson's coming off of that hand surgery too from his last fight, so he did what he had to do. He looked sharp, but I thought that he should have been earlier in a couple, probably like 3 or 4 rounds earlier. But yeah, I give him a C+.
All right, Josh.
Yeah, I agree there with Slubber D. Yeah, especially for the last minute opponent change there. I watched when Padley was able to beat Mark Chamberlain, and it was an upset. I knew Shakur would get Padley out of there. I thought it would have happened a little bit earlier as well, as you mentioned there, Clubber D. I saw he did hurt his hand in that contest at some point. His left hand, because it's southpaw. He did hurt it in one of those rounds there. That being said, and I know you're going to touch on it there. Let's go to the aftermath there with Padley, Papi Chun Yayo. I know you're going to mention it, but that being said, hey, for a guy jumping in last minute, hey, he put up as much fight as he could, but there are definitely levels right there, and it was all Shakur's. Nothing was ever in question.
Okay, cool. Skywalker, what you got for us?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, hey, it was a cool fight, man. I was watching it on my phone inside of Peter Piper Pizza. I ran into
again with the Peter Piper Pizza.
Yeah, but the Peter Piper's Pizza story gets crazy because not only am I hanging out with Jennifer Hahn, former world champion,
nice.
In the ring with Katie Taylor, Michaela Mayer. We were hanging out at the weigh-ins. The next day, when I had to check out the hotel. I got to take my kids somewhere. I got to watch the fight on my phone, burn some time, and you know what I mean. I'm gonna go visit some family after the fights are done until the fights start at night, And Jennifer Hahn's in the same Peter Piper with her kids, so we watched that fight together. I watched the fight with Jennifer Hahn, bro, and it was weird because El Paso's a big city, and there's like 6 Peter Piper locations. I went all the way to like my area of town, the Northeast where I grew up. And I went to the Peter Piper, took my kids there, and she was in there. So it was just like coincidence, bro. It was cool. But we were able to watch the Shakur fight. Padley came out looking good, man. Everybody was kind of shocked at Padley in the beginning. I think Shakur was just allowing him to look good. You know what I'm saying? But then Shakur became Shakur. You know what I mean? And I agree. I think he could have got him out of there way earlier. I think he was playing with his food a little bit. And still, Shakur looked good, man. He's got good defense. He had Padley really frustrated. I don't know. He just had that look of frustration on his face. He couldn't get to Shakur. So, but yeah, it was a good attempt from him. Hopefully, he can get some good fights from this.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good fight, Papi. You obviously have some strong thoughts about this fight.
Definitely, man, because I'm sick of it. I gotta cook on this a little bit, right? I said pre-fight that old boy was gonna give Shakur some problems and he was gonna go kamikaze. That's what he was gonna do. He was gonna go kamikaze, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was already ready for the fight. Yo, the dude was ready to fight, bro. He did do the kamikaze. And I'm not buying that last minute replacement stuff. The dude was shredded, bro. This dude was shredded. He had great feints. He was moving right. Shakur obviously is a class above, 2-3 classes above old boy, right? So everybody was expecting this and expecting that. But hey, listen, all y'all over in the UK and all you people out here who just don't like black fighters, knock it off, man. When was the last time we found out about a boxer's outside the ring job, bro? They're talking about he's an electrician. Okay, so what? So what? He's fighting. He's a boxer. He's fighting. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta don't be. They're always trying to make somebody get love off. Oh, he hit Floyd one good time. He's the best ever. Let's run his checkup. How do you become like a city hero for going on there and taking a one-sided ass whooping? I'm sorry. No, we don't do no participation awards in boxing, fam. So I'm gonna give dude credit because it looked like he was ready. He gave Shakur just a little bit of problems, but all you heard was oos, oos, oos. That's all you heard. You couldn't see where the fists were landing. All you saw was a head moving and then a blur. You could, they don't. You need like 8K to see how fast old boy's hands was moving. You feel me? But anyways, it was easy work for Shakur. Y'all stop talking about old boy's an electrician, blah blah blah. So some of y'all mamas make me Philly cheesesteaks for Christmas. You feel me? And leave them there. That ain't got nothing to do with fighting. You know what I mean? So just knock that off, man. Y'all can. And then the way I feel some type of way because Shakur was whooping this boy's ass, right? Whooping it. And the crowd was just like, every time old boy went kamikaze and went in there to hit him a couple times, everybody's like, yeah. Like, yo, bro.
Shakur made the face. He was like, what?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
You got an A-side person going over to Saudi where the crowd energy is whack. And it's giving away home field. I don't like that, and y'all need to stop it with all this nonsense about trying to. You did the same thing with Pitbull Cruz. That boy trash. He trashed because he fought Tank with one hand, bro. Tank had one hand for 7 rounds, and y'all like, oh, we need to see the Pitbull versus Tank. Do you don't think he'd have been slept by the fuckers by the 7th round if Tank hadn't broke his hand? Come on, bro. and then y'all give the dude wins after that. You know, when he got beat by a couple of dudes that we seen fighting, but y'all want him to be the dude because y'all think he can fight Tank. Knock all that off. Just knock it off. It's not necessary.
I feel you on that,
bruh, man. Online, everybody's talking about electrician hung 7 rounds with Shakur. Maybe y'all think that maybe it took Shakur a little while to figure out. Because them dudes is weird, bro. They got weird rhythm. They ain't on no drum beat stuff. They on the off beat and some of the every other off beat type stuff.
I think every fight at least has 1 or 2 backup people that say, hey, stay in shape just in case. Not a full training camp. I know UFC has alternates. They'll even say who their alternates are on certain fights. But for this card, I think Padley had to be a known person to be, hey, just in case, just stay in shape. You never know.
We're gonna have to talk about that last minute replacement stuff too, because they put some bad info out when we get to this other.
That messed my pick.
They put some bad information.
That messed me up.
They put some My man was back at the Democratic Republic of the Congo. You know what I'm saying? Getting rubbed down.
Yeah, I think that screwed everybody up. We're gonna get into that right.
Yeah.
Look like the landlord from Coming to America.
Man was back home eating buffalo bison meat.
Crazy. Freaking crazy. Horse meat.
Bison.
Bad news, Brown don't get the hell out the ring. What's he doing? Not in shape.
We got to kill her. Yeah. Morning Wombat says, I believe Shakur is the truth and the best in the world at 35 and 440. The hate baffles me because he has pound for pound level skills, phenomenal defense. I think he can probably outbox guys like Tank and Keyshawn Davis. What do y'all think about that?
Ooh,
we'll never see Keyshawn fight, I don't think. But
we'll find out Saturday with Tank, right? We'll see how he handles Roach.
Tank don't want it. I don't think so. He knows the style. It's just that style. I think we'll see Shakur versus Devin Haney before we see a Tank versus Shakur.
They can't negotiate, man. It's hard for any of them, man, to make them fights happen. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's bad for boxing.
Very bad.
Yeah, and I like Shakir. Yeah, I agree with Morning Wombat or whomever said that. Yeah, I think pound for pound talent right there. Stylistically, hey, I like him. And he goes for it. You know, he's not just a super safety first guy. I know that De Los Santos fight, you know, he took a lot of heat from that. But by that same token, De Los Santos, I think he almost all or close to it as far as his victories were knockouts, and he wasn't exchanging in that contest. I mean,
he beat Teofimo.
Ugly style match.
When you got 13, you got 13 punches landed in the fight.
Yeah, he's talked to Mayweather. I think he got with Mayweather's person or these. I know he's bringing in Mayweather for advice to help with his hands because Mayweather had terrible hand problems.
Man, it's that speed, bro. And if you look at physics, you start looking at acceleration and stuff like that. When you throw speed like that, you run it. I mean, it's basically power.
Mm-hmm.
Being fast.
Understand. The way he gets in and out, and the way he can cut the ring off, and that's not normal in boxing. Okay, only a few fighters can do that, but they don't appreciate that because it's not a.
Oh no, they appreciate it. They appreciate it when Lomachenko do it. Who also
because he doesn't
more
run.
than 120 punches in the fight.
Yeah, true.
Look at that move. You know what we heard during the Majimov fight? I'm sorry, I just got to say this. We heard a lot of storytelling. When a motherfucker moving around the ring so much, you start hearing the announcers start telling stories and shit. And because there ain't no action happening. You know what I'm saying? It's like they feeding the audience a big.
You gotta start like making up content just on the spot because there ain't enough action.
Because we run when we do it. We run when we elude stuff. We're runners. But when other people do it, it's like seeing that person with fair skin breakdance. Oh, look at Kid Rock, he can breakdance. And then when you see, someone else do it,
you're giving them the Elvis treatment.
Okay.
Gotta see me break dance, bro. I'm a beast.
You see break dance on buildings and stuff. Shoot.
I got the windmill still, and I got the one-handed handspin. I got the up rock. You know what I'm saying? I used to break back in the day, man. It's like riding a bike.
Breaking electric boogaloo over here. What's happening? Morning Wombat, the head injury problems are by far his biggest weakness, in my opinion. Is what he says. Continues on about Shakur.
A little bit of validity there.
Got a question. Morning Wombat. Wait, what do you think about the Kid Austin situation? So this was just mentioned. We talked a little bit
from your dad
on the last show. What do
y'all? Hey, you just don't get massages in foreign countries.
Massage, food poison.
Especially if you got a fight coming. You feel me? Might get relaxed a little too much.
Tamper passport, which is a federal offense. Leave your dad. Your dad is not the best person for you. Just get away from your pops. And they said they're leaving Golden Boy also, which is just okay, but whatever. I knew that fight wasn't gonna happen.
I believe he got sick, but man, I think his dad kind of exaggerated with the poisoning and all that. He probably
they claim Shakir did it, which is crazy.
Doctor said nothing happens. The doctor said you're perfectly fine. So maybe it's just been a 24-hour bug. Shakur was like, he didn't make it to the press conference, so he already knew something was up. So why would you give up $1 million? That was $1 million for that fight. He threw away.
Would you take a dive for $1 million?
Nah.
I don't know. If you look at it the way, if they knew that fight was risky and they wanted to pull out, I think they look at how much money they've invested in his career. You know what I'm saying? You look at it like that, right?
How much would it take for you to take the dive?
Take a dive. I tell Turkey I want equity in Riyadh season. I want a piece of the pie. Anything Riyadh season connected to Riyadh season.
Okay, he said he wants some equity.
Yeah, because Turkey's money is very long. So
and check what Morning Wombat said here. They said the Saudis threatened to jail them if they kept accusing Shakur of poison.
They don't pay that shit. I believe it. They don't pay that shit.
Feed them to the lions, bro.
Yeah, get off the tongue.
Give me that snip. You'll be full for people under the stairs.
You go to jail over there, you ain't getting no type of pork,
Yeah.
You kiss bacon goodbye.
You don't want it. It'll be an international scene crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk slick over here. You can't do that stuff over there.
Yeah, black woman went over there not too long ago, got to talking. They throw her ass straight in jail.
Dubai, yep.
Well, something else we were talking about, and you were very adamant about this, Papi Chunyeyo, so we're going to start with you. We had a late edition that I think all of us who chose this late edition chose him based off the fact that we actually thought there was some sort of training going on. Maybe some sort of athletics happening, maybe some calisthenics, maybe some sit-ups, something. But it turns out we got something totally different. Tell us what happened here, Papi.
Well, it wasn't. We didn't get long to kind of figure it out. But I personally picked Bacoli. I think I had him like KO, not going past 7, KO 7 or something like that. Because that's just who he is. He's huge. He's athletic. He's strong. He can take punches. So he comes out. You know, Joseph Parker got off on him for a second. Joseph Parker got caught. Bam. Got hit. Bacoli started walking him down. And punch to the top of the head, bro, shows that while you're not sparring, you don't have any punch resistance. You haven't, you ain't get used to taking shots. And that shot that he got hit with, I mean, I think that if he was in shape, he would have been able to take that shot. But Joseph Parker didn't have another round to last if he didn't catch that shot, because Bacoli was walking him down and he was hitting him with fast, hard, powerful shots. So you know what? I'm gonna give props to my man over there. Joseph Parker. You didn't impress me. Not that you need to. You didn't impress me with the way you were boxing, but it's a heavyweight division. One shot could put them all to bed. So congrats on the win. But I still, just like Shiraz, Bacoli is still one of my sleeping giants. I'm taking him over anybody right now if he has a full training camp.
Yeah, it was a Joseph Parker second round TKO, as Papi Chunyeyo was just saying. And so that's what he was alluding to when he said Parker didn't probably have another round in him. If it got to the third or fourth, Bacoli probably would have got to him. But that's the exact right, what you hit on the head. And I think everybody else is going to hit on this. I'm sure everybody else will. But when you said it exactly right, and they said this on the broadcast, I heard the commentating booth say this, something similar, that when you're not training, you don't have that wind, you don't have that the stamina, you ain't been hit, you ain't been training, you ain't been doing nothing, that you're going to come in, and when you get hit in the top of the head like that, you're going to wobble and fall down very easily. Skywalker, keep us moving.
Hey man, mad respect and credit to Bacoli. You talk about a last minute replacement. This was like last minute. The guy had to hop on a plane and save the show. Mad respect to Bacoli, and congratulations to Joseph Parker. But I think, man, it would have been a different situation if Bacoli had a full training camp. Like Ernest said, he's gonna do big things in the future. And yeah, man, that was just too short of a notice. You know what I mean? That's what you call jet lag, bro. It's jet lag. Yeah, jet lag.
Right. Only 2 days, and I got to fly all the way across the.
Pretty much got a phone call and had to hop on a plane, bro. Like that.
Josh, what do you think about this?
Yeah, when they said that Bacoli was 315 pounds, I knew that was a problem right there. And I was under the assumption, and I think all of us were under the assumption that he was in there training, because I know he had a fight coming up in April with F.A. Ajagba. But yeah, if you're 315 pounds, it's hard to just give you that validity as far as going in there and getting a win over another elite heavyweight there. And I think that Parker, it's a double-edged sword for both. His last minute for Parker as well, but he had bulked up a bit more, put on more weight, because he came in at 267, which may be the heaviest he's ever been, but he was preparing for Dubois. But that being said, Bacoli, for a guy being out of shape, he was getting a little bit of work in, and he took a big shot right before that one that kind of took his equilibrium out. But that being said, it's just the weight for me. As soon as I saw that, I knew that, hold up, this might not go how I thought it would.
Well, and like you said, Joseph Parker was training. at least he was training for something. Like, he might have not been training for that opponent, but at least he was training, whereas Bacoli was doing nothing. And Clubber, we're going to come to you, but this is a hilarious comment from Morning Wombat. He looks like he ate the Martin Bacoli that beat up Gary. That's tremendous. He says, I've watched all his fights, and he's never been that out of shape. He landed the day after the fight. Have y'all ever seen that? Clubber D, what are your thoughts about this fight?
I mean, Morning Wombat, he's 100% correct about that. I mean, you look at it, I saw a video, and that's why I was like, damn, like I wanted to change my pick when I saw the weight that he weighed in as, and then they saw a video of him walking in the airport at 2 or 3 in the morning with a tight ass outfit. And they're like, oh yeah, my manager had to grab me something, and it's all they could find. So when I saw the weight, and then I saw him come to the ring, I said, oh boy, and he literally looked like the dude from Coming to America who kicked him out the house when they were in the apartments when he was smoking a cigar in the jacuzzi. The landlord, he looked just like him. But then I swear, I thought, okay, Bacoli gonna knock him out, whatever. When he hit him and he just like that, like just ate it.
Oh yeah.
I said, oh boy. And then when he cocked upside the top of his head, he did the Kamala. He fell backwards, and when I saw one of them legs go in the air, I said, oh man, he ain't getting up. And then he got up. His trainer said, nah, we're going to stop this, because like everybody's mentioned, if you're training and you're not sparring and getting hit, you know what I'm saying? That's a 260-something pound man who's been training is going to hit you. And if you're not used to getting hit, you know, something that's going to happen. So, but if I go back in time and get that Biff Almanac and see the weight that he was coming in as, I would have picked Bacoli. I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think no serious person on earth would have picked him knowing what he was coming in looking like. There's just no getting around that if you're not training, you're not ready for a fight. And especially, like Papi Chunio said, a heavyweight fight where you got people trying to knock your head off with, hundreds of pounds of force. Not even.
They have some trouble with these heavyweight fights, man. Our Cuban dude went over there. He looked kind of crazy. Like, what happened to him? The Makhmedov dude who went over there, he looked kind of crazy. The Deontay Wilder fight, that shit was wildly crazy. And it seems like, you remember with Big Baby Miller and Du Bois? Like, it just seems like there's some issues around, people not being ready and being too heavy and not.
I don't think they're coming in time. I think they're not doing like Asim Rockman when he fought Lennox Lewis. He went to Africa about a month and a half ahead of time and got accustomed to the time zone and everything. So I'm not sure when these fighters are getting over there and starting their training camp, or maybe they're just like coming in maybe the week of, or maybe 2 weeks. Maybe they got to come in 3 weeks or 4 weeks and just got to get their bodies used to it.
Ain't nobody in a hurry to get out in 140 degrees. I promise you that.
I don't know.
Hey, and I saw that Lawrence Sicoli on the broadcast, because he's moved to heavyweight now. He mentioned that he was offered to fight, and I'm guessing there may have been some others who were offered to fight, which makes you wonder why they went with Bacoli, but maybe they just saw the potential in terms of this big guy coming in or whatnot. But if they offered it to others, and it could have been a thing. Bacoli,
I know he lives in
training or something.
He lives in Abu Dhabi, which is like 3 hours away. I think that's one of the main factors also, that he can get there so fast. He's about 3 hours away in Abu Dhabi. So I think
Bacoli and Du Bois would have both beat him.
Yeah, Du Bois. If Du Bois was, that like, of course, the main event. But I wanted to see that fight so bad.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I think Du Bois would have won that fight based off of what I saw from Parker. I think Parker. I know he's younger than the rest of the guys, but I think his punch resistance isn't that good anymore. He gets hurt in every fight that I've seen so far.
Yep, very stupid. Okay, cool. Again, I think that would have changed all of our opinions. So we're all taking a mulligan on that. We don't lose that one. Keep it moving. And we are off to the main event. Y'all have been waiting for it all show long. We appreciate y'all sticking with us. Almost 2 hours in. We are almost done. We're going to wrap it up with this last fight. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like button as well. If you're watching, please tap in and subscribe to all of the different channels here. I'm going to throw up a banner here so y'all can know exactly where to go ahead and subscribe. Ball and Buds, 86 Boxing, Skywalker Boxing Media, Papi Chunio on IG. So y'all make sure you please tap in and support all of the content creators on this stream. Cool. That being said, let's keep it moving to the main event of the night. What we came to see, the last Crescendo, Dmitry Bivol with a tremendous comeback performance after losing his belt in the previous fight to Artur Beterbiev, as this was the rematch. And so I'm going to put the scores up. We see it was via a majority decision. 114 was a split card. 116, 112, 115, 113 in favor of Bivol for the majority decision victory. Clubber D, this was an amazing main event. Tell me about it.
Well, I think something that happened that we spoke about finally did happen, and I kind of think Father Time jumped up on Beterbiev, and he started kind of slow. He was investing a lot in the body, but in the middle rounds, he started taking over, and I thought that was going to be the duration of the fight. He was going to knock Bivol out, maybe 10th, maybe 11th, if that was going to happen. But then Bivol turned that around. It's like, okay, if I'm going to get on my track shoes, I'm still gonna stand and bang with you a little bit and then move around a lot. So that's something that he didn't do as much in the first fight, because I'm a big advocate of, if you're backing up the whole time, you should not win, because you're not ready to stand on your ground. But he backed up, got out of harm's way, and still got off on Beterbiev. So I think that was the deciding factor in this fight. And I'm a big fan of Artur Beterbiev. I thought he was going to take him out, but he was dominating in the middle rounds. But then Bivol said, "No, not today, buddy, not today." So he started teeing off back on Beterbiev and catching him before he can catch him. And I had it Bivol by 2 points, but I thought I was going to see a draw. I was, to be very honest with you, I thought I was going to see a draw in this fight, but I had Bivol by 2 points.
But the way that you put it was perfect, because the fight and how back and forth it was even played out within the rounds of scoring, because like you said, Beterbiev came out, tried to establish going to the body, putting in more work than Bivol, but then Bivol noticed, I'm falling behind very, very quickly in this fight, and I need to do something to turn it around. Josh, tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I did pick Bivol coming in. I also did the last one as well. What I think was one of the deciding factors was, in this case, when Beterbiev got Bivol hurt, I thought he pounced on that opportunity and maybe expended more than he initially had planned to do. So when you look at the last fight, Beterbiev, he really kind of owned the second half of the contest. And in this case, you can say Beterbiev owned like the first half through that middle rounds portion. And then from there, Bivol, he took the back end. He took the last bits of the rounds there outside of the 12th, which could have gone either way, I suppose. I gave it to Beterbiev. But I think that difference was maybe when he pounced on Bivol and it looked like he had him hurt there and like, oh, this could turn into something stoppage-wise. But maybe he expended a bit more. He thought he had him. And then from there, Bivol, he knew he had to sit down on those punches and he had to dish himself out. And I thought he won it. I scored it 115, 113 in favor of Dmitry Bivol. And, hey, we get a trilogy out of it.
That's the best part. The best part is that we are definitely going to get a rematch, as was alluded to earlier.
WBC got that belt back.
Yep.
Okay, so there may be wrenches in the plans. All right, well, Poppy will tell us about that in just a second. Skywalker, what were your thoughts on this fight?
It was a great fight, man. I had a Beterbiev. It looked like Beterbiev was whooping some ass, but at the same time, Bivol was letting off counter punches and moving around and scoring. You know what I'm saying? So I had it 115, 113. Bivol kind of controlled the later rounds. It was a good fight, man. I don't mind the trilogy. I'm not, I'm cool. I'm all for it, man. I had Beterbiev by knockout, but it didn't happen. Bivol's, just master boxer, man. He's great.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, because then in those middle rounds, Bivol won those probably 4 rounds in a row, probably from 5 to you could throw up 7. 7 was kind of up in the air for me, but 5 through 8, pretty much most people had him winning. And I'm going to bring up the cards before we go to Poppy, because I do have that card here, but or the scores, excuse me. But also, Beterbiev did well to come back after that and see that he was falling behind and he needed to step it up. And that's what made it great, the back and forth action. And so you can see the 3 scorecards here on your screen, which will indicate to you why these were so close. But yeah, Poppy, I think we all had it so far because I had it 115, 113 as well for Bivol. So it looks like we've had that across the board. What did you think?
Well, I had first of all, I picked Beterbiev like for KO 11. I thought that he was going to come in and be a lot stronger and go straight into Wolverine mode, which is exactly what he did. He went straight into Wolverine mode. I felt like Bivol. So the moral of the story for the fight for me, the story title for me was Bivol got beat up, but he won. He won the fight, but he got beat up, right? So Beterbiev was just constantly applying pressure. He was going to the body, but Bivol was getting off on those slick combos. And them combinations slick. He was getting off on them with them, but it's just like in this fight versus the last fight, I only seen maybe 2 or 3 times that Bivol was able to stop Beterbiev and kind of stun him and stop him, but he still went forward, right? It's like he got stunned, but he was like, okay, I'm going back at you. And I felt like Beterbiev, I felt like he was going to the body crazy. And I was like, okay, by the time round 4 got here, I put a note in my thing. I said, Arthur is having his assistant phone the battered shelter. That's how I felt like he was just beating on him, bro. But then Bivol just kept coming back with slick combos. He landed more shots. He was more busier. Arthur forgot about the body later on. I had to fight 114. It was really hard to call. I didn't know, whether they thought that, the forward pressure and because Beterbiev, every shot he threw has stank on it.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Shout out to Bivol for the toughness in the chin. Shout out for Beterbiev for going forward. I didn't see Father Time catching up with him in this one. What I saw was Bivol just being the better boxer, just like he was the first time, doing what he does, and having the heart of a lion and being tough. Oh yeah, and the WBC did take they're taking that belt from him, so they just messing up. I don't know. It's weird. You got a fighter who has all 4 championship belts, and then you got a fight that's happening, and there's an interim belt in there, but the 4-belt champion is not hurt or injured and is active. So it don't make sense to me. But
yeah, I definitely
hate that. They have to give some the step aside money, to make that happen.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely want to see the trilogy. Bivol was a master boxer here. He put on a class. I disagree with one point that you made, though, Poppy. I do agree that Beterbiev obviously brings a lot of thump with his punches. But I remember I saw through the first 4 rounds that Beterbiev had double the amount of punches thrown and obviously double the amount of punches landed because of that. But a lot of the time in those first few rounds, I was seeing him posting them, keeping him away with his guard. But a lot of the punches were kind of hitting him on the arm. And yeah, that still hurts. And it still affects the boxer when they are, looking at how they're going to counterpunch. But it also seemed like he was just throwing a lot of shots that weren't necessarily as thumping as they could have been, because it seemed like he was just trying to keep pace, keep Bivol away and things like that. And I think that's how he racked up so many more punches than Bivol. But Bivol was actually being very precision with his strikes, was making sure that he was picking and choosing the right spots of when to throw his punches and counterpunch.
Okay. I agree. I think that's valid. Another observation that I had was that when it came to Bivol, he is most definitely a counterpuncher, and he had all of the success counterpunching. In the case of Beterbiev, that may be one of his drawbacks, I guess, because he's leading so much.
Yeah, he's not really countering.
Doesn't really counterpunch because he's usually the one setting the tone, getting off. And I think some of those counterpunches were eye-catchy there for the judges as well. And Bivol, he has such great footwork that also some of the things that plague Beterbiev is, he's very economical in his punches. Typically, maybe this is why you were seeing a lot of misses, because he was going for it a little bit more. But we've seen at times where while Bivol is moving around the ring, Beterbiev is coming forward, but he's not throwing much, you know. And I think those are probably two of the things that really stand out. You know, gives a nod to Bivol's footwork, but also with Beterbiev, man, how does he look? You know, trying to counter, letting them come to him, and then trying to make some things happen. You know.
No, Arthur didn't. He didn't do a lot of back. He didn't fight off the back foot. He's really good at fighting off the back foot. He just went in there in Wolverine mode, bro. He was just, I'm gonna go forward and try to break this dude. He didn't. I don't know. It was a great fight for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
I thought coming off that knee injury, you know, he'd be a little more active towards the end of the later rounds. And Bivol was just being so slick with him. It's like he just, not saying he lost a step, he just couldn't fire off the way he wanted to, like he did in the last fight. And I figured, okay, more rest after coming off that knee injury, and I just didn't see that. And I was like, oh man, I think I want to see a third fight, but you know, what are we going to see in a third fight? Are we going to see the same cat and mouse game where the cat's getting outpointed by the mouse, or are we going to see the cat be maybe quicker this time and cut the ring off so the mouse can't run that far? So, you know, so I'm a little worried, and we'll see what the WBC has to say about this too, because Turkey Al Sheikh might just say, "Hey, sit down for a second, Calvin. We don't need to see that fight."
And
I was really surprised. I was really surprised. He circled into his power the whole night.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's right there for you. What are you doing? So that's where I was like, is he getting old? Is his brain and his body not thinking the same? You know, he didn't look like he didn't fall off, but it's just not what I expected at all from him.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. The cat is going to be a year older, at least next time we fight, or 6 months older. So how will that affect, you know, his strength, his stamina, his quickness, his agility, stuff like that. So, all right, awesome. Well, that was a hell of a stream. Thank you all, gentlemen. That was amazing. We are so happy that you could bless us with your presence. So really, thank y'all again. I want everybody to go ahead and give out your socials so people know where to subscribe and follow y'all at. So, Josh, start us off, brother.
Of course, 86 Sports, 86 Boxing, especially if you're into boxing, hit me up. Thanks.
Boxing historian right there, y'all. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Has great documentaries on old school boxers. Skywalker, let them know where you at.
Skywalker Boxing Media on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook Skywalker Boxeo, and it's Team Mo Boxing, no problem. And we're on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Papi Chunyeo, how about you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on IG at Papi Chunyeo. You could DM me there for the interviews and things like that. You can also find some of my clothing brands at Bell's Deep Clothing on IG and Bones Deep Clothing for the animals. You feel me?
Definitely go out and support. All of us are trying to, you know, make it big and make it somewhere with, you know, whatever we got going on. So make sure you please tap in with all of these people. I'll put in a comment right here so you know right there in the writing. Clubber D, let them know where you're at and any final thoughts.
Hey, you guys want to catch me? You can catch me at clubber.d on TikTok. But if you really want to get at me, just add Ball and Buds on IG. You know, we're all the same, and I will get back to you on the questions. And a lot of y'all are blowing up our Gmail right now. I'm not going to read some of the stuff you want me to do to some of y'all's moms, but you know, we'll relax on Gmail stuff. We got the next mailbag. We got to do that, Omar. So we got a lot of stuff on there about people's moms.
Definitely got to hit the mailbag up next episode. Make sure you email ClubberDBNB for Ball and Buds, ClubberDBNB at Gmail. For any fan mailbag questions, we'll be back next week with our UFC 313 preview next Thursday, 8 p.m. Y'all make sure you subscribe at Ball and Buds. Handy QR code up top. You can scan that. Find our link tree, which will have our YouTube, our IG, Clubber D's TikTok, Bottom Line Sports, all that good stuff. Thank you, Rock, Chuck, and thank you, everybody who tuned in today. We really appreciate y'all hanging with us. And we really appreciate everybody that's going to hand out and subscribe to these channels. Again, they're right there on your screen. Make sure you give them a like and a subscribe, and we really appreciate it. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Follow 86 Sports to my audience that's tuned in. I got your link pinned in my chat, Ball and Buds, and then 86 Boxing has his new channel because his other channel is focused on history. This is 86 Sports too. Covers a lot of the current stuff. So if you guys are not subscribed, subscribe to Josh's channel right there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, make sure you
Yeah,
subscribe.
my brother, he got his YouTube channel. It's live right now, so we're live on Papi Chunyeos as well.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Josh, what's that you got up there? I saw you holding something up. What was it?
A little Ali Funk Papo.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, Josh got a Josh bobblehead.
Yeah, I know Josh got his own joint. I love
Josh
it.
got his own bobblehead. That's dope.
I thought that was Michelle Rivera.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, well, we're gonna get out of here. Go hit the green room. We'll catch y'all next time. Again, please make sure that you subscribe to all those channels that I put up there for you. And we wish y'all a great night, an amazing evening. Enjoy that Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight this weekend.
He's with the millions. It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. Hot like winter cold. Bust these fools, anything less than killing whack rappers is a crime. I stay trying to get mine. Stacking value, packing venues, winning over time. Ain't no fine timeline. Open your eyes and looking for the best, and this is what you find. Game is only for the bold. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Introducing from parts unknown, your UFC and combat sports insider, Clever D, the Combat G, and the Sports Professor.